Hey, we're going live. We're live already. Hey, fellas, look who's here. It's Mr. Ron Ellis.
Hey, everybody.
We're at Ron's shop. We're still setting up, so you might see a light come on here in a minute. Don't worry, you're not having issues. It's us. We're running late. Anyway, Ron, thanks for joining me.
Hey, man.
It's so great to see you.
Pleasure after all these years.
I know. So I wanted to introduce everyone to you because you're one of my favorite people, but I've been enjoying your pickups for however many decades now. And I play your stuff on my show, and everyone has full of questions. Why does Ron do this? How does this work? Why does this pickup sound so much better than everybody else's? So I thought, well, this is better just for everybody to meet Ron. And one of the things that I talk about a lot when we're on the show is that Ron's a really nice person. Like, you're going to enjoy doing business with him. And he's embarrassed that I said that. But we're here at a shop. We're out in the front room. You can see part of the shop back there. Maybe, if we can make this work, we could walk around.
It'd be great
a little bit and have a look.
See the messy shop.
But a messy shop is where is
Sorry,
that the
folks.
doorbell? Is that
The time clock.
does that mean it's lunch hour?
It's not yet. There we go.
All right, see you guys after lunch. But so we're here in Carlsbad, San Diego, which is North San Diego County. And it's really, really nice here, especially this time of year. I talked to a friend of mine this morning who's in Connecticut, and it's 40 degrees and nasty. So we're having a good time. But so, Ron, let everybody know, first off, there's going to be a bunch of guys on here. I'm going to put on my glasses to read this on my laptop. I'm normally on my big screen at home. There's Knut Berge in Norway. Hey, how are you, buddy? Let me see if I can get this screen bigger. There we go. And then the comments should show up here. There we go. So I remember meeting you 2004.
I think it was 04.
Yep. Something like that. And Peter Stroud comes up to me and goes, "Hey, man, you got to meet this guy." He makes these crazy good pickups. And from that point on, we've just been friends ever since. And you were still working for your top secret government job.
Not top secret, but yeah, working for Lawrence Livermore Laboratories.
Yeah. Which is, for those of you who don't know, Livermore is a pretty famous place. A couple of well-known people have worked there. It's a guy with the German name.
Yeah, just a few, created the nuclear bomb and
that
stuff
guy.
Like
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Hans Schnickelgruber.
That's right. One of those guys.
Yeah.
Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah.
Few names.
Tesla, Oppenheimer, Murray Lipschitz. But anyway, when I first met Ron, I'm going to let you talk, but I'm just going to kind of get everybody off to a good start. When I first met Ron, he was explaining to me that what you think you know about pickups maybe isn't everything. So, like, if it's Alnico 2 or Alnico 3 or Alnico 5, that can mean a lot of different things. How much of each of those elements are in the magnet. And remember one time we talked about carbon contamination, and all this sort of stuff. And so you figured out a way through, I think you put some of these pickups on a spectral analysis machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you figured out what sort of the code was that everyone else would just have to guess and make educated, smart guesses, which a lot of people do. But you just kind of nailed it down and figured out how to do it. And if I understand it correctly, now you can take modern materials and modern gear and make them behave like the older stuff. So am I misspeaking when I say that? Or
No, I mean, some of the stuff you can have remanufactured because the materials that they used back in the 50s off the shelf, just down the street from, your regular supplier are very, very different.
Yes.
The copper, the magnets, the metals, the base plates.
Yeah.
Just what they used back then. And a lot of it had to do with what it was used for and also the machining. That's what when you do a lot of research, you find out that back in the day, machine shops didn't have the high carbon cutters, and they didn't have a lot of the materials they have today to process the materials.
Or just a clean work environment.
Work environment and all that.
Let me ask you, because I know with guitar amplifiers, like when you talk about like the stack on a transformer, back in the 50s and 60s, all the amps that we love, that steel was hand annealed. You know, it was
Yeah.
cooked by a guy with a welding mask on and a big rod. Whereas now they dope it with silicon and they cook it with a computer. They can cook it twice as fast because it's got the silicon. Is it the same thing with magnets and
Yeah.
like it's a different purity level to the magnets and things like that?
Yeah. And they were, as they developed like the magnets, for instance, back then, the stuff, like if you look at like an Alnico 3 magnet, from the old days of the electron microscope, it looks like you're looking at the Grand Canyon. There's all these
Right.
voids in there.
Yeah.
There's probably more airspace than there is solids.
Really? Wow.
So, and then the way they.
Do you guys have an electron microscope at home? Maybe. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, explain my background a little bit. As I worked, I came down here to San Diego in, 86, October of 86. And I worked for Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories.
Mhm.
And then I came down here to work in San Diego at General Atomics on their fusion reactor.
Wow.
And what we were doing is we were doing analysis of the plasma. And that was with infrared camera systems, with spectrometers, with all kinds of camera systems and things like that measure plasma density,
Yeah.
plasma temperature, and all that. So I've had on hand, fortunately, like right next to me, the lab that I worked out of has like $20 million worth of spectrometers and
You can just like reach in your pocket and pull out a tele pickup. And
So funny story. So most of the time when you go over there to use those facilities, a lot of times they have it taped off because they're doing, CIA, FBI type research on it. And,
yeah.
Because there's only a few of these facilities around the world. But so I took some pickups over one time, and there was a guy up in LA that had an old pickup that was out of a Jimi Hendrix owned guitar.
Oh, wow.
And the pickup stopped working, and he said, "Would you mind, like, this is Jimi Hendrix pickup out of his guitar, and can you just do a write-up of what did you find? What are the magnets or whatever?" And I thought, yeah. So I went to the guy that ran that.
Let me think about it and get back to you.
Well, the guy that ran that facility there, who's absolutely brilliant, I went over there and explained it. This is a pickup that's out of Jimi Hendrix guitar, and would it be okay if we did an analysis on the magnets and the wire and stuff? And he's like, "Well, I don't know crap about, I don't play guitar or anything.
Yeah.
But I love Jimi Hendrix."
Everyone knows Jimi Hendrix, right? Yeah.
So anyway, we did that. So we took it apart. I took the magnets out. And then from that, we found, how you actually have to test these materials. There's a lot of surface contamination on old pieces of metal.
Sure.
So you have to if you're going to shoot this with a spectrometer, you have to be shooting what you really want to look at. So you have to be able to prepare the materials in the proper way to be able to get down to the base materials to know actually what it is.
Wow.
And a lot of the times when you shoot these things, you get a lot of the contaminants. You get oxides.
Yeah.
You get, things that build up on there.
Well, some of it's like just environmental, and some of it is just from the production process.
Yeah.
Like they're in a dirty room where guys are smoking cigarettes and eating pizza, and
You get all that on there. So
yeah, right.
So anyway, Don was an expert at this. So, he was really good at educating me on how this stuff is tested and all that. So anyway, that's what we did. So that was the first pickup that I ever did. And that opened the door with Don there in the shop that, hey, what do you got next? You want to check out? So I could go in there between, doing really high end stuff.
Right.
And we could test materials. So I tested everything from magnets, wire, base plates, anything I get my hands on. Peter sent a few things out.
It's Peter Stroud. Yeah.
And a lot of guys in Nashville that I became friends with.
And this is like early 2000s, right?
So this was, I started doing that back in probably 2002, actually. And I just was fascinated by it, so I thought, well, this is great because,
it seems like an endless, like, once you get into the minutia of it, it seems like it could lead to massive caverns of new information.
But yeah, and it's not only just the pickups, it's the saddles, it's the base plates, it's everything. And so what I did is I built a database, just looking at all those materials and just wrote everything down, and was able to build a data book on that and a spec sheet, and then just so everything I get my hands on, I'd buy stuff on eBay, old parts, and shoot it, to see if there was any consistency from, early 50s into late 50s into 60s.
Yeah, track the trends.
Yeah. So that's how it started, and then getting into the pickup part of it is when I met Alan Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
I found an old Telecaster through an acoustic dealer up in LA, and a 63 Tele.
Nice.
And it was a basket case. Neck was off,
Yeah.
body was off, parts were all over in bags. And so I took it to Alan Hamill, who used to work at the Fender Custom Shop with Fred Stewart,
Mm-hmm.
and had him rebuild the guitar. So from that, he and Fred were starting to make their own pickups and making A&F guitars at the time.
Yeah.
So that's where the whole thing started, because when I heard Alan's pickups, they sounded really good. They sounded
Yeah, I
like
remember
old
you telling me
pickups.
that decades ago, like they were outstanding.
So when I explained to him what I was doing, it's like the light went off in
Mm-hmm.
him. He's like, oh my God. So from that, we worked together for a couple of years. And I was doing all the testing
Mm-hmm.
of anything we get our hands on. I was buying all the materials
And this is all side hustle at this point.
and that side.
Because I remember the first time I came down here, I went to your garage.
Mm-hmm.
And you were on a big folding table in your garage.
It was just for fun.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I wanted to see, but it's the old thing of you go into Guitar Center and you pull down even a custom shop, expensive Tele or Strat, whatever, and it just doesn't sound and feel like the old guitars.
And it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I told this story probably a million times, but the catcher for me also was probably in 2003. Went into Guitar Center Hollywood, and there was a guy that used to work in there, and he said, man, we just got in this broadcaster. You have to check this out.
Yeah.
And I remember he pulled it out, perfect weight, plugged into an old 5B3,
Mm-hmm.
53 5B3 Tweed.
Nice.
And he said, yeah, just check it out, And I sat there playing that thing, and I'm not a great player, but instantly it was like, what the hell?
Yeah. There it is
going on here.
Yeah.
That was so
right.
absolute, the feel and the sound incredible, So the engineering mind got me going. It's like, come on, you hear about the blood, the sweat, the beer in the clubs, the smoke. And
I'm the same exact way. Like, not to interrupt you, but like you've heard the story. Like I got my first Marshall in the 8th grade. And then like 2 weeks later, I had it completely torn apart. Nothing was really connected. And my dad was furious with me. I'm not paying to fix that, because I loved it so much. I had to figure out how it worked. And I was driven like ever since then, like why, how do tubes work? How do I manipulate them to do what I want?
Why is this so good?
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially when you hear companies of today saying, we make the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Fender is saying that these are exactly the same pickup materials and we're, same wood, all that stuff. And it's just not true because things have changed.
Well, I think, that's right. The stuff that they were made out of before doesn't exist.
No.
But also, I think, this is going to sound snotty and I don't mean it that way, but I think, most people play guitar for fun. It's a hobby. It's something they do on Sunday, while the kids are out at soccer or whatever. And they want the guitar to look correctly. Yeah. They want it to look like a vintage guitar. But it's not because they're stupid or anything. It's because they've never played an old guitar. Yeah. They don't know what it sounds like. And same with amps. When I play people some of my old amps, I go, oh my God, this is the best sounding Vox I've ever heard. I'm like, it's just a Vox. That's the way the old ones sound. The new ones don't sound like that. Yep. The same with guitars. And so for me, because I'm old enough, I'm 60, these old vintage guitars were cheap used guitars when I started playing guitar. Guitars from the 60s were cheap. I couldn't afford a brand new Norland Les Paul, but you kind of bring that back. Like when I play this, I go, oh, right, there it is. It's not like, oh, I've discovered something amazing. It's like, no, right, there it is. That's great.
Yeah, it's more the feel thing than that. Even today, like with our pickups, we when we talk about like the sound of the pickups, if you pick up an old Tele or an old Strat or a Les Paul, there's a feel thing even before you plug the damn thing in.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, if you have that feel thing, it's going to sound great when you plug it in.
Yeah, it's indicative of what's going to happen.
It is. But the old thing of there's so many people even today that don't play a Telecaster. Great players that don't play a Tele because they think, oh, they're bright and brashy and thin.
Some are.
Well, you had that Tele that you brought down here a couple weeks ago, whatever. And, a 50, what was it, 51?
51, yeah.
And, I mean, those things sound like a freaking Les Paul.
Right. It's not twangy at all.
Woody. They can be dark. And
it's forward.
Yeah.
It's a great sounding guitar. Yeah, that's that's also, we've talked about this so many times, that pickups back then were also made with whatever the supplier had. Yeah. Like, hey, I need some magnets. Well, I got Alnico 3 in stock. Great, I'll take them. you know, and we were just talking at breakfast about, you know, the story I told you about Seymour, you know, and I asked him about PAFs and he said, sure, what kind do you want? These PAF, he goes, no, like what kind? Because I've identified 27 different kinds, you know.
Vary, you know, and in the hands of the different players, that's, you know, that's the big difference.
Yeah. So it's interesting stuff. So now, so you've been in business formally, like what, 21 years?
Well, so Alan and I think I met Alan in 05.
Oh, okay.
And then for about 2 years,
Okay.
year and a half to 2 years, I was with Alan, and things just didn't work out because, you know, we had this gigantic list of people that wanted the pickups, and I was handling all of the,
me included,
the sales and dealing with the people, but Alan just couldn't produce it for many reasons.
Sure. Yeah.
And he had a lot of issues going on and stuff. But so anyway, I had to part ways because I couldn't continue, and then there was a lot of people that were waiting for the pickups that we couldn't supply. They had either sent in all of their money or half their money.
Oh, yeah, that gets awkward quick. Yeah,
and got really awkward. So anyway, so I had to start making pickups. I knew, you know, I knew where all the parts were because I bought everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, Alan never showed me actually how to wind. He always kind of kept that secret.
Oh, really?
And yeah, when I would walk in, he would on purpose stop, and he never wanted me to see the pattern and stuff, which, you know, I figured out. But so anyway, so, you know, it kind of goes back to our chef thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, you can have, you know, 10 different restaurants around you, and, you know, they have a chef that
they all serve
chicken
bit
different way.
Yeah.
But they all end up being good. And
that's right.
So I just had to come up with I figured out a way to wind them, you know, the tension, the wind pattern, and all that, but also have the consistency. Because, you know, it's, as we know, pickups are from the old days are all over the map. Yeah. And there was really no tight consistency, tight tolerance.
No, there weren't standards then because electric guitar was new. Yeah. Like, does it work? Okay, great, sell it.
Yeah. Fill it up with wire, get it out the door.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a product.
So anyway, so I had to develop that. So I just prototyped and you know, stuck stuff in guitars, and a lot of times knowing that, okay, I'm going, because I've always said, like, it's kind of like a tennis racket. You know, there's a sweet spot.
That's right.
That you're trying to find. And it's the same thing with amps or guitars or anything.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to go a little bit too far to the left to hear what bad sounds like.
That's right. You have to go too far to get it back where it should be.
And then you go to the right, and it's the same thing. You go a little bit too far. Well, this still sounds good, but I'm going to make a pickup that I know sounds bad. Right. So I can validate that it sounds bad. That's right. And we can document it.
Oh, you should hear how bad my prototypes before they turn into production. They sound like trash cans rolling down the street, but that's how you learn. You know, that's right. That's how you do it.
So you have to do the groundwork. And I mean, you know, I was working 50 hours a week, sometimes 60 hours a week on my day job, and then coming home and doing this at night and on the weekends. And
I remember you were worn out. I remember that clearly. You were very exhausted.
So that was probably from 07, 08 that I started doing that. And it was literally I had to do it to supply those pickups.
Right.
And then fortunately I got them in the hands of, you know, guys like Brad Paisley and I think it was Brent Mason, and Bill Hullett was a huge part in Nashville. Bill was like, and
then Leroy, right?
Leroy Parnell early on. And then even pickups to Clapton, you know, we sent over. And then some of my first Strat pickups that I made went to Clapton, and then we heard back from Ms. Camp that, God, these sound fantastic. Yeah. So I thought, well, if I can satisfy her at Clapton, then that must be pretty good.
It's a good start. Well, I know you also have some customers you can't talk about because they have agreements with other manufacturers. Yeah.
They have endorsement deals.
You're the wizard behind the curtain.
Yeah.
For those. Yeah.
I wish we could use those names because
I have those too. And I charge them full price. And it's like, but we're friends. I know. That's why you're going to be happy paying full price.
Right.
Unless you want me to use your name.
Yeah. So,
hey, look, we're going to have more light.
A little bit more light here, guys.
Yeah. It's all right. We're improvising here.
You let us know, Dan.
Ooh, oh yeah, that's looking a lot better.
We see the light.
Can you adjust the color on that at all? Can you go a little yellower? Sorry, guys. Bear with us for just a second.
Yeah, we kind of ran out of time. I was supposed to have this set up.
Ron and I got talking too much.
So AJ and Scott are helping us out here.
Yeah, we got a crew, man. Let's see. Let me get this stuff out of the way. Just turn the exposure down a little bit, and then you can hit us.
And they can also turn down the light, as much light too. We can have a light show.
Hey, epilepsy.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you could just drop the color down, like down around like 2500K, something like that.
And then there's that dial, guys, where you can crank down the intensity.
It's getting pretty good. That's all right. This is fine.
Okay.
This will translate well. Hey, so we got some comments coming. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't looking at the screen. Randy Krath, how are you, Reverend? Good to see you.
Hey, Randy.
Rob, you know Randy Krath? He's
I know the name.
kind of rock and roll
Yeah.
Baptist minister in Virginia.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, if all ministers and preachers were like him, there would be no issues. Right? He's also a great musician, and he records at home and does a lot of work. It's really good. And then Rob Price is one of my longtime customers. Jimmy Page's Telecaster sold thousands of Les Pauls. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
It's probably back when we were talking about the Tele pickups.
Well, I got a funny story with Joe Walsh on that. So just a real quick story.
Yeah,
So,
go for it. You can have a long story if you want.
Joe Walsh used to live down here in North County, San Diego, not too far from where I live. And, so I had the opportunity to go over to his house one time. And
This guy, Haas Thompson, is one of my artists. Our artist in the north of England. He's got a band called 13 Stars.
oh, cool.
And he's absolutely hilarious. Speaking of Bob Oppenheimer, is there any tonal benefit from using clean steel, i.e. smelted pre-nuclear tested bombing, etc.? Sorry.
Well, that's my secret. Yeah, I've actually salvaged some old parts off of old reactors and stuff.
Oppenheimer left
a
a locker at your workplace.
That's right.
And there was some stuff in there. Yeah, there you go.
But no, with Joe, so I had the opportunity to go to his place. We had a great time. It was through his wife's, at the time, Denise's eye doctor and stuff. So I took a few guitars over, I think it was Divided by 13 FTR 37 over there to his house. And
there's Bob Dragic, who I mentioned earlier. Hey, Bob.
Great.
Good to see
Hey,
you.
Bob.
Bob's from Guitar Player Magazine, and then he also is the editor of a motorcycle magazine at the same time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we're over at Joe's house, and then I thought, well, I know he's a Tele guy, so I got to take my 63 Tele. So I took that over there, and that had my pickups in it. I had my broadcaster and a standard in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought if I'm going to get his attention, because it's a good guitar.
Yeah.
And so we go over there, and I pull that thing out, and he sat there, and he just disappeared for like 30 minutes, just playing, all the old
I've worked
stuff.
with Joe. He's an interesting guy. Yeah.
And so anyway, he got through playing it, and when he was done, he took the guitar, and he was sitting on the edge of his love seat there, and he put the butt of the guitar down on his top of his feet, and he's holding the neck, and then that funny Joe Walsh voice, he goes, he said, this is a perfect example of this bridge pickup in this sounds just like the bridge pickup in the Les Paul that I sold Jimmy Page. And he said it was very Tele-like, and he said, man, you can take a great Tele and a great Les Paul, and they're indistinguishable in the
especially
bridge pickup.
Broadcaster pickups,
and it's
to me, because they're usually higher impedance, right? 8K or something.
It's true. It's like, a good PAF is very single coil like.
Very twangy,
A good Blackguard Tele bridge pickup is very PAF like.
Yeah.
And there's an overlap, and I'll never forget that. It was Joe Walsh saying that.
Yeah. He was one of the first people, just side story, like when I was still working, I was like an IT project manager at Blue Shield when Peter and I started making amps. And I have a lot of friends that like to call and prank me. So I got this call. I was at my desk, like I had a headset on, like wearing Dockers and the whole thing. And I get this call. It's like, hey, man, it's Joe Walsh, man. Stroud said you'd make me one of them amps. And I'm like, hey, Joe Walsh, I'm working, man. Fuck off.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then he calls back and goes, no, seriously, man. Stroud said. I'm like, oh my God, it's Joe Walsh.
Yep.
Because the voice was so distinct. I thought someone's, having a laugh with me. But it was so great. And we had the best conversation. And then he was, his guy, Smokey, was living down the street from me at the Sportsman's Lodge.
Smokey's a sweet guy.
Yeah. So we went over there all the time. But he was, the guy could make you laugh.
Oh, he's funny. Yeah.
Naturally funny person. But I'll never forget that sitting at my desk. Hey man, Stroud said
Well,
you'd make me one of them amps.
Same thing with me. So the next day I was at his house. So I ended up saying, okay, yeah, I can get you a set of whatever you want, Joe, of course. And so I think I did. I sold him, or to Smokey, I think 2 sets of Strats and I think like a Telly set or something. Anyway, so he said, hey man, we're going to be playing in San Diego tomorrow night. And he said, how many tickets do you need? So it was really sweet.
Yeah, he's a gentleman. Yeah.
And all. So the next day I'm at work and I'm up at the machine shop having a meeting with a bunch of different engineers and stuff on a really like serious, we were way behind on this project. And there's like 4 or 5 guys from Oak Ridge, Princeton.
Oh, wow.
And I'm from Livermore.
Yeah.
Livermore. And so we're in the middle of this thing and it's kind of a heated conversation. My phone rings and I look on it, Joe Walsh. And I'm like,
gotta put him on speaker on. Yeah.
So I go, hey guys, I got to get this phone call.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me like, you're in the middle of a freaking meeting.
Yeah. You got some notable people at the table. Yeah.
And I said, I can't put this guy off. So I go over, I walk about 10 feet away and I go, hello. And he goes, hey man, what's going on with that voice?
Yeah.
And then one of the guys, the guy from Oak Ridge, huge Eagles fan, huge Joe Walsh fan. He goes, so I held the phone up and I said, 1 minute, I showed him it was Joe Walsh. So they all gathered around to hear Joe's conversation.
They're totally cool with it.
And they're like, you're fine. Take the call. It was so funny though. But he's a sweet guy. And he's also one of those guys that Smokey insisted on paying. Because I said, you don't need to pay for this.
Yeah, no,
they'd say honor.
He paid me and he paid full price.
Yeah.
Like there had a few guys, him, Peter Frampton, some of the original, the old OG guys, like Steve Miller. They all said, no, give a break to someone who needs it.
Yep.
Like just send me the invoice.
And you can't say that about a number of them that want this
that
stuff.
Is not the majority of
free.
people.
They don't even mention paying for it.
They don't even offer.
So
yeah, I've had to explain to a lot of people. I used to just hold up pictures of my kids and go, hey, I'm gonna call my wife on speaker right now. Can you tell her why you're not paying for the
How about like an electric bill or something?
Yeah.
Your lease payment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like how much did you make on tour this year? Oh yeah, $90 million.
Most of them are, I gotta say though, and in all the years I've been doing it, working with a lot of top pro people, most of them are super cool.
19 out of 20 are great.
Yeah, they're great.
Of course, they're funny stories about the ones that aren't, but
yeah.
And I think it's just business, like
is it good on the light there?
Yeah, we're okay right now. We look very warm and cozy. Okay. I think when this comes on, it'll get a lot clearer.
Yeah, guys, that looks really good. Thank you for doing that.
But
getting back to the time that of me doing it.
So because I guess maybe I met you, maybe it was 06, 07.
About that.
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
Because you had just started, because Alan Hamill was still part of the conversation.
Yeah, when I first met you, I was still with Alan.
Yeah.
And then so I did it, God, when did you come on board, AJ? I mean, well, AJ came on. You got to remember, AJ's my son. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, AJ, when he was going to like high school,
come say hi.
Hey, everybody. So this is Alan. We call him AJ. And
what's up, man?
Hey. So we started. You were just getting so stressed with the orders piling up.
Yeah.
And so
it got crazy.
I remember I was driving home from my temp job up in LA, doing one of the hour-and-a-half drives I had to do. Yeah. And we got off the phone. I just sat there and went, let's do this thing. So.
And that had to be what? That's after you graduated.
You were still
right before COVID.
You were still at your house.
Right before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when AJ said, Dad, you're doing this, working your ass off, like alone doing this. Why don't we turn this into a business?
Right.
Father
and son stuff's always fun.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the enjoyment's great and the fights are spectacular.
Yeah. No, we should have been filming.
Yeah. Really. Yeah. No, I mean, that's working with families.
Working
with families emotional. I've done it. Yeah. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
But on balance, it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we kind of cleaned up the business aspect of it. For a while, we just didn't have a website. I was, cleaning up.
Well, I couldn't.
Well, you were
because we were so slammed with orders.
At one point, you were like 18 months back order or something. Yeah, what do you need a website for?
The list was legendary. We had like a book that was, it was all handwritten and all that. So
I found that book the other day with all the notes and all that stuff in it.
We call it the garage mentality that we
Yeah.
try to keep, because that's a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff was,
Yeah.
the culture that we bring.
So
today.
that was probably 2019, and then we stayed in the garage until we've been here in the shop. What?
Been a while.
4.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was working
Because I came down here 2 years ago, I think, to this
Mhm.
place. I think the first time I'd been here, and you were pretty well established at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was working high school too.
yeah, no,
Me-
all through high school, and then he went off to school for a couple of years.
Mhm.
So one of the things I'd
Yeah.
like to do, if we can pull it off, since we're on a weird mobile rig here, so I'd like to take everyone back here and show them your shop before we're
yeah,
done, not
that's a
this
good
minute.
idea.
Be great.
I'll get
But
that light fixed up.
When you look at, all the manufacturing businesses I've been involved with, you run an outstanding shop. It's a clean, nice work environment where everything is safe and fresh, and you've got the legal things to keep the air clean when you're doing work in here. And
Like,
I know all
we're in-
your
we're in
employees.
California, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to.
You're supposed to have to.
But you actually do it. And it's a nice modern shop that's right now it's climate controlled. And this sounds weird. Why would Dan bring that up? Because 19 out of 20 places in our business are not like this. They're leaky old buildings from the Depression that are affordable, and people work in horrible conditions, and it's not friendly and nice. So you can see a little glimpse of it here.
Yeah.
You got a really nice shop back here. Maybe if I can figure out a way to drag this camera around with the laptop. Might be hard with the microphone though. We'll figure something out. Anyway, what is this? Carlos Santana and Eric Clapton are always pay full price. Yeah, could be.
A lot of the times too, you're not dealing with them directly. You're dealing with the techs.
You're dealing with the guy.
And it's and a lot of those guys who have been with those major acts
Mhm.
for a long time, they understand it. They get it because they're part of it too. So
Right.
um,
That's true. A lot of the big names on our list, I got a courtesy call maybe from them where they're playing in LA, come backstage and say hi. But I did everything with their tech.
Yeah.
Or their agent.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. So right now, if I remember, you're doing humbuckers, like 50s style humbuckers and 60s style humbuckers, right?
mhm.
And then you got quite the array of Telecaster and Stratocaster pickups. If I remember correctly, you have 4 types of Strat pickups. Is that right?
Yeah.
For your standard offering, I know you make all kinds of custom stuff. But.
Yeah, we do a lot of custom work, but our standard stuff, like with him, what we try to do here is, I won't mention any names, but there's some.
You can substitute names.
There you go.
Names that rhyme.
Yeah. Donald Duck's
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
that's right.
No, but there was only so many changes the manufacturers made.
Yeah.
So like in humbuckers, there was the PAF that everybody refers to,
Mhm.
And that PAF, that was from 1957,
Right.
and that went on. Well, it was actually late 56, but that went on into they consider like the T tops.
Mhm.
Those were essentially the same pickup.
Right. Yeah.
They had a T on top of the bobbin, and but really and truthfully, it was the same thing.
Right.
The changes occurred like in mid 60s.
Mhm. Was that because they moved from Michigan to Tennessee?
Yeah, the manufacturer, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 65, right, is when they moved to
It was something
Nashville.
like that,
Yeah, from Kalamazoo.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're using different vendors, and like you
Yeah,
said
right.
earlier,
You got different suppliers.
when you're manufacturing, normally you try to order ahead and you want to use your particular product you're going to be using,
Mhm.
materials or whatever. But if you get into a pinch, like Leo Fender,
Yeah.
Gibson, all these guys were the same way. If they called up
Yeah.
their magnet manufacturer and said, "Yeah, we want the same magnets we ordered, 6 months ago or whatever," well, we don't have those, but we have these.
What do you got?
Okay,
Yeah.
fine, send
Yeah.
them.
Also, in 1965, there wasn't like jet cargo. Like everything was by truck or by train.
Yep. and it took time.
So like if you had a local supplier, that's the one you want to use.
Yeah.
So things could change really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, and then I know you make So, on your Strat pickups, you got like a 54 set, right? And then a 57.
Yep. So I can do the quick rundown. So we, like on our humbuckers, starting there, we do the LRP set, which we did for Leroy Parnell.
Which I have one. It's amazing.
2012. And that's kind of the PAF thing. You know, we kind of make that because when you think of a PAF, you think of rock and roll.
Sure.
You know, you think of the guys that played the Les Paul.
Early rock and roll.
Early rock and roll.
Yeah.
And so then when we did the thing for Leroy, you know, he's a huge fan and he's one of the greatest slide players of all time.
Yeah, right.
So he's doing like the Allman Brothers thing. So we tried to do the Dwayne Allman thing.
Yeah.
And so we worked with him on that. And then Gibson came out with the LRP guitar in 2012.
That's right, yeah.
So that's the LRP set. And then we do a set called the Signature set, which is based on a guy that used to work for Qualcomm, brought up an all gold 57 Les Paul.
Was that your friend that I met?
No.
No, different guy. Okay.
Different guy.
I remember he had an old guitar too. Yeah.
Yeah. So he brought this all gold Les Paul up, and to this day, it's the best sounding Les Paul I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, both the neck, the bridge.
What year was it?
57, and it was all gold.
Oh,
the
wow.
back of it, the neck, everything was gold.
Wow.
And apparently they only did just a handful of those that year.
Yeah.
And so he left the guitar with me for a month when he and his wife went to Europe. And he said, you can play it, you can test it, whatever, as long as you don't get a soldering iron out and take apart the pickup. So when I measured the pickups, the neck pickup was 9K, and the bridge pickup was about 9.3K.
Oh, Jesus.
So see, a lot of people would think that, wow, those were like overwound, super hot pickups, but they're not. It's because of thin wire.
Okay.
Because all of those pickups were wound to 5,000 winds.
Oh, so just, okay.
P90s and humbuckers were wound to 5,000 winds.
Haas, you're hilarious. He says, I'm loving the white balance. You are looking like Brits in the Pentaton. So we don't really have a lot of light here. I'm trying to open the aperture on the camera so you can see us.
We can actually swing that around a little more.
Is that, can you
if
point
you swing that
at
around, just a little, or Scott, just a little bit.
Yeah, bear with us here while we
try to get a little more
we get this going. We're trying to get a little
less red.
We'll get it right.
Yeah.
It'll take a minute. This is very impromptu right here in the lobby.
It looks pretty good.
You can point it a little more direct at us, though. I think it'd be fine. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now I can warm it up a little.
That's good, yeah.
Hang on, guys. Yeah, well, Haas, as you know, Ron and I both come from Northwestern European heritage. So we're I think the official Latin term is honkies.
That's right. German Irish.
Yeah, that's me. Yep. Does your family have the joke like, my family's German and Irish, and a joke like, I like to drink beer, I like to eat potatoes, I like to fight, and for some reason I want to take over Poland.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we're trying to make it work here. It's improv,
That's
so bear with us. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
I think that's good, guys. Yeah. Thank you.
We're very nice. And so Randy Kreth says, finding the right paintbrush, pickups, wood, etc., are all the things of. I got my glasses on the laptop. Sorry. Those of us who record are looking for. Really good paintbrushes are what we're looking for. Yeah, that's right. Well, if you guys get a chance, go look at watch some sound clips, and you've heard me play Ron's pickups. But anyway, and then the third humbucker.
So the signatures from that gold top. So those are a little bit more single coil like, because especially when people say, I want that Jimmy Page sound.
Yeah.
When you think of Jimmy Page, I mean, it sounds like he's playing a dime or a nickel for a pick, and it's that chirpy.
Yeah. But
also, if you go back, I mean, he kept that stock pickup in there for a short time. That thing was ripped out, and he had DiMarzio's in it. He had Duncan's in it. He had.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He was changing pickups constantly, from what I found.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so it's hard to say, but Jimmy, just his style is that chirpy, bitey like sound,
Right.
So
that middle position with the neck pickup rolled back just a hair, and you get that.
Quack, 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 quack.
So that's the other
Yeah.
thing too, in this business, it's like you did the same thing with amps. Somebody calls you up and they say, I want to sound like Peter Stroud, or I want to sound like, so-and-so or whatever. It's just so much the player's hands and the way they play. So
I've told this story 1,000 times, but just for the people who haven't seen it, like I still get a call once a week. Which one of your amps is going to make me play like fill in the blank, make me sound like Billy Gibbons or Jimi Hendrix or whatever? And I go, any of them. Really? I go, oh yeah, let me ask you a question. Do you play like Jimi Hendrix? Right. No. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Then none of them. Yeah. It's like it is the guy. But then the good news is, Jimi Hendrix can't sound like you. Right. So just go play guitar.
Well,
have fun. Yeah.
The best one that I get, and it's an honest thing. I mean, I've had this numerous times where a guy will call up and he'll say, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan. Mm-hmm. And have you ever seen the video of him on Austin City Limits playing tightrope? And to me, that's probably
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing on camera.
The hardest example to give, to try to figure out tone for somebody.
That's a tough nut to crack.
Because number one, it's Stevie. And that guy had a lightning bolt from the heavens every time he touched the guitar. But he's got a steel string singer, probably wide open. He's got two twins. Right. He's got a super reverb. Yeah. And all those amps are just pinned. He's tuned down a half step. Right. He's using huge strings.
13s.
So it's like, so what you have to do is, you got to be nice about it and realistic. It's like, okay, you're trying to do this through a deluxe reverb reissue. And so if you want to try to get that sound, let's be realistic about it.
So like in all fairness, it's not a dumb question. It's just it's a unthought out question. Yeah. Because of course we all want to sound like our heroes, and that would be great. And if I could make an amp that made you sound like Jimi Hendrix, we would be having this conversation on my yacht right now. Exactly. But I can't. No one can make you sound like someone else. Gear is not going to make you sound like someone else. Now, if you can sort of play like that person, the gear might get you a little closer. Yeah. But that's about it. So it's not like it's not a dumb question, but I get it a lot. And when I laugh, I'm not laughing like mocking people. Say this, just haven't thought about it. It's a really difficult thing to do. But you can approximate it. But I like to play golf, and you can give me Tiger Woods' bag and his caddy, and have Butch Harmon walking the course with me, giving me tips on every stroke, and take me to Augusta National, and I'm going to shoot 115. Whereas when I play at home, I shoot 76.
Exactly.
There's a certain amount of the guy, but your stuff gets, for me, like when I play your stuff, and I don't really try to sound like anyone else. I try to sound the best that I can sound, which is pretty limited, but at least I try to maximize what I can do. When I play your stuff, I really feel like I have more vocabulary, like I can play. What I intend to do with the guitar happens better. I'm not working within the specs of a narrow product. Well, I can make a clinker and it'll sound really bad too.
What we try to do with like all of our pickups is, I'm not a great player, but I've played my whole life, so I've got a good touch on the guitar.
Player. I've heard you play,
and I know how to pull sound out of a guitar and stuff. But it's like when you pick, it goes back to that thing of the feel. When you pick up somebody hands you like a real great 50 broadcaster or whatever, what you find when you plug in and play is that there's so much more creative things that are coming out of you.
That's right. And
that you've never experienced.
It
before.
Encourages you to do things. Yeah.
And what I think that is, whether it's a P90 or a humbucker, single coils, whatever, there's a lot of pickups out there. There's a lot of guitars made today that they sound great. Mm-hmm. The fundamental note is there. It's like, it's there. You can go gig with it. You can make records with it because you see it every day. But when you get an old great guitar in your hand, there's compression before you get to the fundamental. Yeah. And then there's a bloom and a release on the notes. And that's that buoyancy and bounce that you get and pliability of the guitar. Yeah. And that's what all these sounds come out, these notes and harmonics or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, it's almost like the guitar doesn't get in your way. Yeah. Like when I play a lot of instruments, they're like, I really got to, I used to work in a music store with Peter. I can, every guitar's got something that sounds good, but most guitars, you're like, I really got to work around this thing. oh, here's what it does. So I'm going to focus on that so I can sell it.
Yeah.
But a nice old guitar, it's just sort of like, hey, what do you want to do, boss? You know, like it's a different feeling. Like that Telly I brought down that we played, you know, whatever last month. And same thing, like, oh God, I played that guitar so much I had to put new strings on it to give it back to my friend.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, going back to like Leroy Parnell, I was talking to him. It's when we were back in Nashville and we were talking and he said, you know, Ron, I can play any guitar, you know, I can go do my show, whatever. But he said, if you want to see the best Leroy Parnell show, then give me a good guitar. And
that's right.
A good sound setup. And
I'm just looking at comments.
You know, then I heard somebody, I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Robin Ford or it was somebody that I was talking to one time. And they said they view like being on stage as like, you can either be on a concrete stage.
Right.
And do the show, or you can be on a stage that acts like a trampoline.
Yeah, that's true. So Haas Thompson, the comments kind of scroll away. He was asking which one of your pickups is your favorite, if you can choose.
I'm a Telly guy, and my favorite, I've got them in 3 of my Tellys.
Cheers, Randy. Go ahead.
Is my Broadcaster Bridge with a standard neck. I mean, in an ash maple.
That's what I need from you. You know, the guitar that I'm building, it's got a copy of that 51. I think I need to get the Broadcaster pickup. Yeah. But yeah, that's great. Well, I know you have quite the collection of Telecasters.
I do. I've got too many.
Yeah, I won't make you say the number in public because your wife might be watching. But
yeah, I can. She knows.
Oh, okay.
I think I've got 8 Tellys.
They're great.
I've got a couple of old ones.
And none of them are like schlock Tellys.
No, they're all, I would put those up. The ones that are not old Tellys, I would put up against any old Telly.
Right. I like is it Chad Underwood that made them? A couple of those are ridiculous Telecasters.
Yeah, Chad's guitars are amazing. You know, I mean,
there's Axel.
There's great makers out there. I mean, Danocaster makes really nice Tellys. And
I'm a big fan of Michael DeTemple's and Lance Lerman's Tellys. I mean, Michael's are really rarefied air. And Chris Fleming, which by the way, Chris is helping me finish this guitar, by the way. Did I tell you this?
You did, yeah.
That's cool. This Telecaster that hopefully when it's all done, the people with their hands in it are going to be Ron Ellis, Michael DeTemple, Chris Fleming, who was the honcho at the custom shop, right? He was the dude. Like all the master builders reported to Chris Fleming. When I first met Chris Fleming, Larry Thomas told me there's 5 guys on earth that can make a Telecaster from scratch. Chris Fleming's the best. And then the other is Lance Lerman, who's Mr. Telecaster. You know, he's so we're doing this kind of fun project, copying this 51 Telly, trying to get as close as we can. But there's a lot of people making great guitars. Even some of the guys that just do Particasters, like Bill Nash and stuff, like those are great guitars. They're really cool.
Well, the Fender is a parts caster.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's right. Yeah.
I mean,
go to the neck room.
That's right. Yeah. But that's how that whole thing goes together, and that person that puts it together, you know, and that's the important thing. But but no, you know, so on humbuckers, we make the LRP, we make the signature, and then we make what I call the Betty, which is my mom's name.
Oh, okay.
She was a huge influence of mine, and she loved music.
Oh, that's nice.
So anyway, and that's based on like, you know, mid to late 60s 335.
That's the one I have in the bridge of my Les Paul, right? So I've got an LRP in the neck, I think, and the Betty. I just, you know, like I was telling Ron earlier, like when you go to the sushi joint and you say omakase, which means just make me whatever you think is best.
Yeah.
I just brought my guitar and here, Ron, do what you want. And it turned out amazing. I haven't touched that guitar since, and I think that was 2012 or 2011 or something like that. When you put that, when we finally got that in, I'm like, it's baked. I don't want to touch it.
Well, the Betty is the reason I did that was because so the LRP and the SIGs have that compression and bloom, the buoyancy bounce thing.
Yeah.
And so a 335 already has that acoustically. So the Betty, the reason it works really well on a 335. Well, for instance, like Larry Carlton has had my Bettys in his Sire guitar for the last, I think, 3-4 years now.
Okay.
And so in a 335, that's kind of the go-to because it's a little bit more fundamental on the note. It doesn't have as much of that compression and bloom.
Right.
So
now I want to try your signature and
You can try it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah. But then on Strats, we do era correct. We do 54, 57, 64.
Right.
And then I make a set called the 5060s, which is a hybrid set, which has different magnets and a little bit different wire throughout.
Is it like 50s on the base side of the pickup and 60s on the top side?
So 60s on the wound string base side.
Oh, I did it backwards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's like it kind of goes back to the, it's John and all, but it's kind of somebody looking for that balanced, like John Mayer continuum sound.
Yeah, right.
Because they've got kind of both.
Right.
And so those work really well in like an alder rosewood Strat. And then I made the 64 set is kind of our standard.
Right.
We sell that, a lot of those.
Yeah.
And that's just like going in, picking up an early mid 60s Strat. It has the chimey, they're scooped.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a good old Strat.
So I have the 57s in that green guitar. And once I got that guitar dialed in, they're insane. They sound so good.
The 57s, if like, you could do demos on it. And then, but another good one is Josh Smith.
Yeah.
So Josh in his,
well, Josh plays way better than I do. Yeah.
He's a monster, but in his Strat, the Burst Strat, those are 57s. And he loves that guitar and those pickups.
And then, so like, I want to do my white Strat that everybody knows on the show. I've been playing it forever. And then the one that we've talked about for 15 years.
Well, it sounds great the way it is.
It's going to be,
but it's something we can just try and just see how it.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. And then, I have that other Strat, that Elliott Stratocaster, and with the maple neck.
Another nice guitar builder. Yeah.
Yeah, Andy Elliott's great. He makes a hell of a telly too.
Yeah.
Andy's like Michael the Temple, like he tunes the wood. Like when you order the guitar, he says, "Do you play in standard tuning?" Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he wants it to resonate in sympathy, on a regular scale. And then, all right, so then I saw on your website too, there's like a 64S Fat. Is that right?
Yeah. So,
or is that more of a custom thing?
Well, I mean, so we're doing a new website now. If you go onto the website right now, you'll see that it's, there's information up there, but the guy that's doing our website now is the guy that does Two Rock and Callings guitars. So he's doing a really, really nice job. We're going to have descriptions, we're going to have videos, we're going to have comparisons and all that. Good. So as we build it, but
this is my friend in Connecticut that I told you this morning. He has Dan's old Elliott Telly with Ron's. Those are the Julian Lodge pickups in there.
Remember, the Lodge?
Remember, I got them from Mark Goldenberg. Remember?
Oh yeah.
My neighbor was my neighbor.
Yeah.
Who had a set just laying around, and I called Ron. He goes, "Go get them from Mark. He's got a set sitting on his thing." So yeah, those are great pickups.
Well, and then you get into the Telly thing, and then
thank you, Keith.
I've had a long friendship with Julian, and he's been, amazing as we've developed some of our pickups, doing the Julian Lodge,
right?
The Jed Hughes, we make the Jed Hughes, the Killa neck
Killa,
pickup,
right?
Because of Jed
with his accent, Killa.
And these are guys that we make so in Tellys we don't really do those in sets because you can use any of my bridge pickups with any of my necks. So we do, like on the bridges, we do 50B broadcaster, 52T,
right?
And then we do a 60T, a little bit raised pole. And then we do the 50-60T,
right?
The blend of different magnets
the hybrid,
in it. And then we do, in the necks, we do the standard, which is like your standard Telly neck you'd get like on some of the early Blackguard stuff.
Right.
And into the 60s. And then we do a mid-tall, which is a little bit taller magnets, which kind of opens up the top end a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of gets you more leaning towards Strat style.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Kind of scooped in the mids.
Yeah.
And then we do the JL neck, which is based on Julian
Lodge. Right?
He has a 54 original Telly that he's not all that wild about the bridge pickup on it.
Okay.
But he loves the neck pickup.
Yeah.
So he said, "Can you recreate this?" So he sent it out, and it turns out that that's only like 5.5K. It's real low wind on it.
Yeah.
Or low output, and then we use different magnets on it, a little bit weaker magnets.
So like this Telly that I'm building, it's roasted ash body, and then roasted maple neck, and it's like the body weighs 3.4 pounds. It's like nothing. But I'm doing the Keith thing, right? I'm going to do a humbucker in the neck.
Yeah.
Which one of your pickups do you think would be,
well,
considering the wood and then the monkey that's going to be hitting it?
so you want like the macabre, you want the
Sort of, yeah.
PAF in the neck.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, this is going to sound like sacrilege. I really don't like telly neck pickups that much.
Yeah.
I've heard the ones that I've heard that are good are fantastic, but 9 times out of 10, I'm like, okay, it works, but it's not my thing.
Well, for tellies, we recommend. So another thing, because of Julian, I got a phone call from pulling a blank. The old moment here.
Cut, take 2.
Yeah. No, so Julian kind of helped with a neck pickup that we developed, and then we also make the Ellisonic line.
Right.
So, and then when the Ellisonic line started, that was for the Julian Lage 470 JL. And that's basically taking like some of the old DeArmond like pickups, the Dynasonic, which looks like a racing engine. It's got the individual pull pieces you could raise and lower, but the magnets are about that long.
Right.
They're like
big,
an inch long,
yeah.
and they're 1/4 inch in diameter, so they're super strong Alnico 5s.
Okay.
But if you look at any picture of those in a guitar, back in the old the early day stuff, back in the late 40s and into the 50s, the magnets were screwed all the way down as far as they could get them down away from the strings because it had so much string pull.
And they also like standard strings back then were 12s.
Yeah. With
a wound G string.
Right.
Yeah. Different than today.
So Julian got a hold of me and said, he was borrowing Wilco.
The guy from Wilco.
Yeah. Pulling a blank again.
That guy.
I'll think of his name. But anyway, he was borrowing his guitar, and he said, it was a Duo Jet, and he said, there's things about the Duo Jet that I really like, things I hate, and the pickup's the same thing. So, I'm going to be working with Collings on doing this new guitar. Would you do the pickups for it? So I basically took an old Dynasonic they sent me and then just started testing. So I said, no more adjustability on it. Let's cut the magnets way down to get rid of the strength. And then I came up with different magnets to put in and stuff.
That's cool.
But that started with the Julian thing.
There's a magnet question here. Super nerdy, of course, but what makes a good magnet for pickups? Sandcast, or I think you're just worried about like construction, like what kind of makeup,
Yeah, I mean, well, again, it goes back to like what was used in the old days and the composition or the ratio of what the materials were in, like an Alnico 3 back in the day. It had no cobalt.
Oh,
so
really?
It was actually Alni 3. And
whereas modern ones are not like that, right?
Yeah. Most of the modern ones you buy like off the shelf or whatever, they're Alnico.
Right.
So they sound completely different than something that doesn't.
It's just aluminum and nickel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, and the ratios really changed because when you put cobalt in, you've got a scale of 0 to 100 in materials in your ratio there. So, if you don't have cobalt in there, you're going to raise iron or something to displace that.
Yeah.
What would be the cobalt? So those sound real different.
Now, why would that be? Is it because it's just not made correctly, or
so back
cobalt's radioactive also? Like, were they worried about that, or?
Yeah, I think it had a little bit to do also with the war that cobalt was used for military.
Yeah.
So they limited the amount.
Sure. Availability.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Then there's a story about how Leo, when he started off making, his lap steel pickups,
the forest white stuff and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when he originally got the magnets for, those early pickups, he found those in like 55-gallon drums. He found magnets that were a specific size, and he bought thousands and thousands of these magnets and then applied that. And it turned out that some of those were A3s and some of those were A5s.
I've heard apocryphal tales of him going to government auctions, like in Long Beach.
Because there was millions of them at the time.
Yeah, there's all this World War II surplus.
Yeah.
And they would have these enormous auctions. You got a paddle with a number on it, and you just bought lots, like a shipping container full of
I'm sure he did.
whatever. And that he went there and scored shipping containers full of speakers or whatever for nothing. And that's why like a bandmaster has mismatched, like the transformers don't match the speakers. Because he bought a whole container full of transformers and that's what they are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how they, you know, just. But I mean, that's pretty smart business back then. You know.
Yeah. Well, like when I first moved down here in '86, there was all kinds of those places down, you know, Kearney Mesa area, in that area, and you
could all the military bases here.
You could get black beauties, you could get all the old caps and pots and
probably
all that
tubes
stuff,
also,
boxes of them.
Yeah, right.
You know, and then that just kind of went away during the '80s and into the '90s.
When we first started, even, you know, I like to use that EF86 tube, that little Pentode and the preamp. I bought them as the British the Royal Air Force was decommissioning. You know, because a lot of in aircraft, you know, your headphone amps use the EF86. And so I had a connection, Derek, what was his name? Watford Valves. And he had a connection with the RAF. And as they would decommission EF86s, he'd call me and go, hey, I can get you 300 of them. You know, oh, yeah, I'll take them all.
Yeah.
But that's all done. There's no more of that.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right. So we talked about tellies, we talked about strats.
Getting back to your guitar.
Yeah.
So
what do you think?
So because of Julian Lodge, I got a phone call from Bill Frizzell. And then Bill said, hey, I played Julian's guitars. I love them. And is there any way, he said, I've had this love-hate relationship with humbuckers in the neck over the years. You know,
I always assume it needs to be really low wind. You know.
Yeah. So he said, is there anything that you could do? And we kind of exchanged emails and stuff. And he said, is there anything you could do to kind of do a humbucker in the neck to sound like a big Strat pickup? And I said, well, nice. You know, you have to do something a little different, you know? So we messed around and I came up with trying to wind, you know, like the screw coil, real prominent compared to a lot lower wind. You know, in the slug coil. And there's a certain point you can get with that, where that can sound okay and you can have an offset, but you go too much and then it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, you lose it. Yeah.
So anyway, we ended up coming up with the right choice for the magnets, the wire, and the wind, and we did the Frizzell. So we make the Frizzell neck, and that's a low wind, and that works really well in the neck of like a Telecaster. We do that a lot.
Well, I'd love to try it. The strange thing about this body, and you probably know more about this than I do, is that the route for the humbucker is such that I can only mount the humbucker on the pickguard. I can't screw it into the wood.
Right.
It's too deep. It's a Warmoth body too, which is really weird. I don't know if that makes a whole,
we can do that. It's
whole lot of difference, but
you just use the short plate with the short legs on it.
Yeah.
And then you just mount it to the.
I was almost thinking of calling him and going, hey, make me a plug, you know, to stick down so I could screw the pickup down into the wood. Because if you, the route is so deep that if we put a screw in there, it's going to come out the back of the guitar.
Yeah.
It's really strange, but it's a beautiful piece of wood.
Something I like to do though, whenever we do that is, I mean, it sounds fine hanging it off the pickguard, but what I like to do is just get a little bit of foam. So when you push that thing down, that is actually sitting, it's got a good base that it sits on. Because you get too much where it's hanging off the springs or the rubbers that are on there, and it gets kind of this resonating weird.
I was going to say, it could give you some overtones, wouldn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
In a bad way. I don't like
not good overtones.
I like it where it's sitting down flat against a base.
Well, that's interesting. Well, maybe that's an excuse for me to come back down.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be done around Christmas.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. It's in paint right now. And then Chris Fleming is going to finish shaping the neck for me.
Cool.
So we put it on, you know, Lance has a 5-head beautiful CNC machine. We did a scan of the neck and got the shape, and Chris is going to finish it off.
Cool.
And
that'd be fun.
Yeah. So what do we got here? Listening to Ron and Dan reminds me of listening to my dad talk about design and engineering. Hi, John Rubel, and just how passionate he is. I really dig the oh, great. Well, thanks, man. We're glad you're here. We'll do this more often. Ron and I talked about doing a split screen from the shop. I don't know if we're going to be able to get this rig in there, but I can definitely do a walk around without the microphone, which might be good. But I want to make sure people know what you make first. So now there's the P90s too. You make some P90s.
We kind of went over the whole telly line. And then, we do P90s. We do the like classic that are more like the 50s era. And when you get into the 60s, it's just to get that sound, you have to put more winds on it, which tends to bump the mid-range a little bit more.
Right.
So if you're playing rock, it's great. But my favorites are the 50s.
Yeah, like we were talking, I'm a big fan of Freddie King's P90 era. Yeah. You know, that's a great sound.
Yep.
And Freddie's so tasty.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, we've been on quite a long time. Maybe we should let's let these guys jump in. Some really, really interesting conversation going on. It's lovely to hear two guys that know what they're talking about. Well, thanks, Hoss. I appreciate it. Mike Leapshot, great conversation. Thank you both. Well, thank you guys. So now let's bring you guys into the conversation. Jerry White asks, when comparing pickups, I presume it's best to have two different sets in similar guitars because swapping them in and out some guitar means that you have to remember the previous sounds.
Yeah.
That's true. I always find audio memory for me is about 30 seconds.
It's hard.
Like unless you make recordings.
Yep.
And I think there's some science behind that. I've read it. Mike, it's literally, like when I'm swapping tubes, like, man, we got to do it hot, like fast as you can, or you'll just be like, I don't know, you go back and forth 12 times before you realize.
Here's a funny story too. So Julian Lodge came out. We talked about it for I've known Julian for years, but he said, man, we got to get together at some point because normally I go to see him when he's in town.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have much time and all that. So he said, we need to spend 2 days where it was just you and I hanging out. So that's what we did. So he flew out here a few months ago and it was so gracious, just
real quick. I want to acknowledge these questions. You can finish your story, of course.
Okay.
Axel, who's a really good friend of mine, says, which humbucker did you say would be good? Give a bit of 335 flavor. Was that the signature?
Those are the Bettys.
Or the Bettys. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And then Bob Dragich, more on the P90s, please. He's a P90 connoisseur.
Yeah. But Julian came out, and Julian's just one of the best players in the world. He's absolutely amazing.
He's kind of next level. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
And so I had all the guitars set up, and I've got a bunch of guitars. I've got the 8 Tellys, and I've got freaking 5 or 6 great Strats and great Les Pauls and P90 guitars and all that. So we had them all set up, and then we did this video, where we're going to see the differences.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with somebody like Julian is you hand him the guitar, he sounds like Julian, because he adjusts. Like I really noticed it when I was going back
he's got the
reflexes,
editing,
the videos and stuff, is that you see him where he'll kind of sit there for a minute and he'll say, well, let me check out the guitar for a second. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have said, Julian, play the same damn thing you played and don't think about the guitar.
Right.
But great players just end up sounding like they do.
They adapt,
from one guitar to the next.
Right.
So it's almost better if you do sound bites where you have maybe a less experienced player and you just strum and you do just a run.
When you've seen my demo stuff, I go to lowest common denominator. I'm not a great player, but I play way better than I do when I'm demoing my amps.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just want to bang out some basic chords so that the focus is on the sound of the amp, not on what I'm playing. I don't want people to listen to me play. I want them to listen to the amp. Also, there's sort of a, lowest common denominator thing. Like if I'm just going A, G, D, everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I listen to amazing people play, and I go, well, this guy's going to sound great playing anything. I'm never going to play like that. And then I get distracted. I don't listen to the gear. I'm just looking at his licks going, I think that's a G Mixolydian scale he's working on, And whereas I just come out and go flangy, 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 flangy. And then everybody goes, well, shit, I can do that.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference.
Well, I'm going to put up the videos of Julian. We're getting those ready to put up, and they're fun. I mean,
he's so great to listen to.
He's so great. And he's playing stuff off his new record, and it's amazing.
He seems like a real nice person too.
Well, with Julian, the people that meet him and get to know him, so you admire his talent right off the bat. But in a couple of minutes, you completely forget about that when you meet him because he's one of the most wonderful people you ever meet.
Yeah, that's great.
He's kind, generous.
Yeah. Sort of like we have a lot of mutual customers like that. Jed Hughes, another person where it's like you just fall in love with the guy when you meet him.
That's super talent.
Yeah, he's like my little brother now for 20 odd years.
Yeah. So
let's humor Bob Dragich here really quick. Give him some nerdy detail about your P90s.
The P90s, I mean, everybody makes them, but
they're all different.
They're all different, and it's just I don't know. P90s, just the old ones have a certain sound, and like we don't pot our P90s, so you're going to put up with a little bit of noise. I mean, it's the way it is.
Yeah, that's where the best ones are.
So,
what about magnets and wire and everything? Is it all pretty standard, or do you have a new way?
Well, I mean, we do. It took a while for me to settle on what I was going to use for the magnets, and you don't
have to give away secrets.
Yeah, I mean, there's Alnico, there's the Alnico 2, 3, 4, 5
Mm-hmm.
that you can use and all, but like on our 60s, we use Alnico 5s,
Mm-hmm.
and then I wind those up a little bit higher with the enamel wire.
Yeah.
We don't pot them, and because if you pot them, you're going to get the guys that say, well, I'll get some squealing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But none of the originals were potted.
Right.
So I'm making those. So everything I've done with trying to recreate these, I've shot the screws, the magnets, the wire in the spectrometer work. So I'm replicating exactly the way they were made.
They're
in the old
authentic.
days.
Yeah.
The wire you can't replicate. That's the only thing.
Weren't you telling me it was really inconsistent back then? Like if you looked at it, it's wide and thin and wide and thin. And
well, yeah, and it still is.
Yeah.
Like if you get for some reason, especially our 42 gauge wire,
mm-hmm.
it's still the way it's made. It just, off the same spool, it's supposed to be, 42 gauge, which is like what, 0.0026. So 2.6 thousandths. But within that same spool, it'll go from 42 to 43 to 41.
Wow.
And, if you get an inconsistent spool. So everything we do is you're pretty good like winding a few coils, but then we have, precision calipers that we use to check not only the overall diameter of the wire, but we also strip back the casing that's on it, the insulation, and check the core diameter of the wire.
Wow.
Because that changes the way they manufacture the stuff. It gets stretched and pulled going to different spools.
And you've told me before, like that can make a difference. Like a thinner wire, even though it reads 9K or something, is.
Yeah, like if you take, like for instance, our Telecaster, like our broadcaster, okay, that is around 10K that we wind it, but we use a thinner wire. So, but the output of that sound-wise really sounds about the same as our 52T that's wound with 42 gauge wire,
right? Which is
7.5K.
Right.
The output level, the audible thing, and the feel thing is about the same. It's because of the thin wire.
Yeah.
And this is why you see like all these pickups over the years, from humbuckers, all of them. If the wire diameter changes, that can like come across as hot. It's years that Robin Ford's bridge pickup was like, it was like an 8.5K bridge pickup. It's like, that just didn't happen. You didn't see that very rarely, in 1960.
Yeah.
Most of those were around 6K.
Yeah.
Maybe 6.2, maybe 5.8.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that Robin's is like a real low wind. But that's Robin's hands going into a dumble. Right. And, it sounds huge
it's
because of Robin Ford.
Well, that's a very interesting concept because, I think everybody judges pickups. They just look at the spec sheet and go 8.2K. That's what I like.
And it means nothing. The output,
it's a secondary measurement.
K ohms actually means nothing. It's a reference point that we use.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people jump on and say you're full of shit, but it's a reference.
You're welcome, Jerry.
But you want to look at the inductance, the capacitance. There's a number of things you want to look at. And there's a window, that sweet spot we talked about, you have to stay in.
Same thing in amps.
It's the same thing in transformers.
I like 6v6 amps. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like, is that a Fender Deluxe or is it my Empire that sounds just like a Plexi Marshall? Or, it's like saying I like 6-cylinder engines. Okay. You like the straight 6 that's in an old Chevy, or do you like a twin turbo Porsche that's 450 pounds of torque and horsepower? Yeah. Like they're both 6 cylinders. So it's interesting stuff. I think that's a very important point to bring up, that impedance is maybe a guideline, but not really indicative of what the pickup is.
Well, because we get that where, people will, and it's understandable on their part because maybe they don't know this in detail, but, they'll say, hey, can you make sure when you wind up my LRPs that you do the bridge pickup at 8.3.5K or something, and I'm like, well, what's the temperature you're referencing? Because temperature changes. You can go off a half decade, a pickup when it's 50 degrees in your shop and it reads 6.6K. On an 80-degree day, that could read 6.3, 6.4.
Yeah, sure.
So what are you referencing? So I need to know your ambient temperature. A lot has to do with the wind pattern and the tension you pull on it.
Right.
That makes a pickup.
That's what I was going to ask, like on this wire, when you're feeding it by hand, can you feel it? Like, oh, this is getting thinner.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done so many thousands of pickups that, and AJ's the same way. it's like, well, AJ is a little different because when AJ winds, and you'll see this when you go out there,
yeah,
you'll think that AJ is working in a cocaine factory because he uses talc powder.
How do you know what a cocaine factory looks
I would
like?
never know that.
Yeah, read about it in Bible school.
But
yeah.
you'll see that he's got talc there, and it's because he doesn't like when he winds. He doesn't like to feel the friction between his fingers when he winds.
Sure,
he has a different technique than I do, but we put it on exactly the same.
The same result is the same.
And I can't use talc even when it's hot and humid here. I have to keep like wiping my hand and all that.
Oh, okay.
Because I like to feel the wire as it goes on.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a certain feel that you get where I can kind of go, this kind of isn't feeling right.
Yeah, yeah. You'll notice an inconsistency.
But if we check the wire and it's gone fat or it's gone thin, I mean, you go out there right now and look in the garbage can. He's got wire that he's ripped off and thrown in the garbage can because
it's not up to your standards.
The thing, and it gets to the expense thing. We're expensive pickups. And so if people are buying, I'm not saying we're Rolex, but if people buy a Rolex, you want the packaging, you want it to have no scratches on it. I mean,
presentation,
the presentations, everything, because you're paying for it.
Yeah.
With us, it's that, and it's also if we're gonna, because we get a lot of people that come back all the time that I want another one of your 52Ts or your broadcasters or whatever. And so if we're going to deliver that to them, we want to send the same pickup.
That's right.
As close as we possibly can.
Yeah.
So that has to do with the wire diameter, the tension. And then we have to look.
It's like going to a restaurant.
It's the food thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels there. Like, you can't hand out two steaks that look completely different with different side dishes and different portions. People wouldn't, so you've seen those experiments like where they take really cheap food and put it in a nice restaurant with a guy wearing a tuxedo and candlelight and red wine with it. And they bring out like a quarter pounder with cheese, and the guy's like, this is the best hamburger I've ever had.
That's right.
But if you get it at a walk-up window on the street, it's like, it's, whatever.
Right.
The presentation matters.
It's true.
It makes a big difference.
Plays a big pickup.
I think I don't know that we're going to be able to get into the shop. But this is a reason to come back. I've got other reasons to come back.
Yeah. Next time you're down, we can do a walkthrough and we can figure out how to.
Let me figure out a better way to do that. And I'll get a camera, maybe a wireless.
I would like to get Audrey.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to maybe grab some stuff to show people, like stuff in process where they can see what your pickups look like?
I could.
At different stages of production. Hi, Audrey.
Hello.
So this is Audrey, my daughter. And Audrey came on board here this last year.
Almost a year now.
Almost a year.
She runs everything now. Everybody just says, yes, ma'am.
And she's the woman in the shop, so we have to curtail everything she wants. But when you contact us, if you go through the website, it'll be through Audrey. And then if you email us, audrey@ronellispickups.com, you'll be dealing with Audrey. And she's real good about following through, making sure that everything gets listed. So she handles all the dealers. She handles custom work. Then, there's throughout the day, she has me come in and we talk back and forth about like questions on custom work or maybe something that she's coming up to speed with. But you'll be dealing with Audrey, and she does a great job.
And she's always great to deal with. I'm just kidding. Giving her a hard time.
Yeah.
But I think we're technically over, which is fine. Sometimes I do these. There's a weird thing that happens, like because of the podcast world. If I stick it to like 20, 30 minutes, huge crowd. If I get it to an hour, people start tapering off. But then once you get up to about 2 hours, it doubles.
Really?
Like in 2.5 hours, I have just a huge.
That's funny.
Yeah. But I think it'd be good to show people like some stuff in process if there's anything you're comfortable showing.
Well, let me grab a couple things.
Okay. I'll look at some of these comments. Thanks, Audrey. Let's see, Mike, has anyone measured the difference in actual output from the pickup the amp sees when varying how hard you are picking? I wonder what the variance is. I'll ask Ron here in a second. I'm sure he knows. Let me see if I can get the picture to look a little bit better here. Hold on a second. We got the light on now, and we're all washed out gringos. We'll get a little improvement here. Not that much, huh? Anyway, good stuff, guys. I appreciate it. Charles Freeborn, I'll ask him. Ron just stepped into the shop for a second. He's going to grab a couple of things. And we'll have a better setup next time. I love coming down here. We actually brought him a guitar, an Epiphone Casino. He's going to rewind the pickups. Epiphone Casinos have odd spacing, so he's going to do it. And then I need to get pickups for the new Telly that's getting put together. There we go.
So we didn't have this planned out, so this is just kind of grabbing some stuff. But here's just one of our. This is a Betty,
Nice.
and so that, and the reason I brought that is that's our aged.
Oh yeah, it looks
And
great.
So we don't beat it to death or anything, but we kind of give it kind of the oxide
Looks like it's been loved.
look. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can do that with any of our humbucker stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here's just a standard. This is a 52T that they're finishing up. We don't have the string on it yet.
Look at that big brass base plate on there. Yeah. The flat poles.
Yeah, just your standard. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody's seen that a million times. This
Yeah.
is the Ellisonic.
Oh yeah.
So this is what is we put in the Collings Julian Lodge, the 470 JL. So that
Mhm.
is like a Dynasonic. That's the
Yeah, I can see the magnets sticking out the bottom here, and they're still cut down, aren't they?
Yeah.
And kind of get us.
So and we Collings. I mean, I think that's their number one guitar. I think they're still 2 years backlogged to all their
Oh
dealers.
really? Wow.
These are kind of interesting. This is probably kind of controversial, but I'll share with you guys. We get a lot of people who want to be able to change out the pickups in the Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky.
Oh, okay.
And the problem with the Silver,
don't tell Paul.
yeah, don't tell Paul.
Yeah.
I'm sure he knows. But so you can't put a regular like strap pickup in there.
Mhm.
The way that they've routed it, it's straight across the bottom. So you can show that.
Yeah.
So instead of having the typical Strat, bottom of the bobbin that looks like a regular Strat,
Yeah.
it's flat on both sides.
Interesting.
So what we did is we came up with a way that you can put the eyelets on the very end here. So these are what we call the PRS Silver Sky drop-in.
The PRS mount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we can do these in any of our models, from 54s, 64s.
Is this form bar wire? Is that why it looks more brown?
So that is enamel.
Oh, it's enamel. Okay.
Form bar is more golden
Oh, okay.
colored.
Yeah,
More
all right.
kind of brassy looking. And then polysol, which we use on some of our pickups, a certain type of polysol we use is more kind of copper colored.
All right.
But
Ron's pickups. I can't scroll the comments. It's really annoying. I'm sure it'll show up on the show.
why do you think real guitars and parts are popular?
Oh, yeah, good question.
Well,
Why do you think relic guitars and parts are popular as they are now? Answer after Ron goes through what he's showing. This is interesting. I think people want to have an old guitar.
yeah, and just can't afford it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of that way too. I mean, I don't like shiny new guitars.
I feel more comfortable with a beat up guitar.
I'm okay with the NOS, the new old stock look where
Mhm.
they're kind of, but I just don't like a shiny new guitar. There's
Me
something
either.
about
It looks like furniture.
especially on the back of the neck,
Yeah.
because it gets sticky and it just doesn't feel right.
I know for me personally, I played for a living, for a decade, and my guitars got beat up. I mean,
That's called a relic.
a relic, right?
That's what I call them.
I mean, like I had one band I played in Atlanta where I thought it was funny to hit the crash cymbal with the headstock of my guitar.
Yeah.
I'd be playing and boom,
Yeah, and there's a ding each time.
Yeah, and back then, somebody who owned my guitar smoked cigarettes. I won't say who, but and I did the headstock thing with a cigarette, and it's like,
Yeah, you got
Only-
the burn mark.
it wasn't on purpose. It was just because, oh crap, I got to play,
Yeah.
And I didn't want to drop cigarette on the stage. Now this is, been the before times when smoking
Yeah.
wasn't the sin that it is now.
Well, and the whole relic thing started from what I heard this from Alan Hamill directly, is that the Rolling Stones came here to play
Mm-hmm.
and their guitars got held up.
Oh, so they wanted some beat up.
And they were playing like LA Coliseum or something, and they said, "Look, we don't know where the truck is or whatever it was. They had the guitars, and we cannot go on stage
right with brand new guitars."
because Fender said, "Well, we'll loan you some guitars." And they
Yeah.
said, "We can't go out there with new looking
We can't
guitars."
use new guitars, mate.
So they,
Yeah.
I think it was Canetto.
Vince Canetto was the first
working
one
there
I
at
was
the
aware
time,
of.
and he said, "Well, we'll just beat the shit out of them, make them look old."
Took a sander and
Yeah.
and did it. Yeah,
And then it just took off after that. And
that's pretty
So,
funny. Yeah, that was his
yeah.
claim to fame. He also made really great Telecasters for a while.
he did. I had one.
Yeah.
Really good guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vince is from St. Louis, and his family is Italian. And there's an area in St. Louis called The Hill.
Oh, really?
Where all the great Italian restaurants are. And so I used to eat at Canetto's all the time. No idea it was the same. That was his parents.
Really?
That was his parents' restaurant.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's it. It's just that people, you want that old guitar. Like I have some old guitars that a friend of mine has made me, again, that I would put up with because I've seen a shit ton of old guitars in this business. And, a lot of times, like a guy came down from LA here about, I don't know, 3 months ago.
You know how those people are.
Yeah. But he brought down a 64 Strat and he was just going on and on about it. And it was cool. He opens it up. It's a real 64 Strat and had new strings on it. You strummed it. It was dead. You felt the headstock and hit the strings on it. It just didn't vibrate. And we plugged it in and the pickups were just kind of dull and stuff. And it's like, this is cool, but this is not a great guitar. So it doesn't always mean that old guitars are great either.
Yeah, no, they're not.
So
in my humble experience, take it with a grain of salt. I've played a lot of old guitars just because I'm old. And those old guitars weren't old when I started playing. I started playing guitar in like 1977. So like 60 Strats were plentiful.
Yeah.
Even when I moved out here, one of the biggest sins I ever committed, I bought a 62 Strat, like, light blue, Lake Placid blue, whatever it's called. No, surf blue. What is it? The light blue color Fender, 60s color?
Sonic. There was
Sonic blue. That was it. 62 or 63. And I moved out here in 86. So what did I do? I routed it out for a humbucker and put a Floyd Rose on.
Of course, because that was what was going on out
with
here.
A locking nut on the top. And the guitar was just beat to crap.
Yeah.
And I bought it, I think at Orange on Sunset Boulevard. Remember across the street from the original guitar, the big OG Guitar Center.
Yeah.
I think I bought it at Voltage. It was Voltage guitars.
Yeah, Voltage right around the corner.
Yeah. And I bought it, I think, for $800 or something like that. Because it was beat up. And
right now that's a very valuable color.
So that blue Strat that I had Andy Elliott make me I wanted to do an homage to that because I love that guitar. It was so great. And then I ended up playing like a Kramer with EMG pickups and shit. It was like 1987.
Yeah.
But anyway, and Andy was like, I'm not going to relic. I'm making you a nice guitar. I'm not going to beat it up on purpose. He said, just play it. Just play it and do that. And then, of course, it's such a nice guitar that I keep it in the case and everything. Relic, it's a good one. Yeah, that's right.
I've always, I kind of caught on to that. It's funny because people always talk about that, and it's real. Those are real nicks.
Right. And that 51 I bought, that's all natural wear that's on there. And that's what they're going to try to copy. We're going to actually relic it.
Yeah.
They can do the patina, they use like Freon.
Yeah.
You can crack the finish but all the wear is around the edges. It's not this random huge smear on the paint.
Some people just have a way of doing it. That's like Chad Underwood.
Yeah.
To me, he's the absolute best.
Those guitars are amazing. Yeah.
Because he just literally, I've fooled so many people, collectors who have come down and I pulled out one of my tellies and they look at it and they go, God, where did you get this? This is a broadcast or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that thing's a year old. And then they're looking at it going, holy crap, this is like amazing.
Yeah. No, I've played yours. They're ridiculous guitars.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Right.
Well, we should probably start wrapping up. It's almost 1:30. You guys have, if I've missed your questions on the screen, I'm sorry. I can't seem to scroll backwards through them. When I'm at home on my big computer, I can, but I can't seem to do it here.
Well, also, and if you have any questions at all and you want to email me at ron@ronellispickups.com.
Yeah, there you go.
With any of your questions or whatever, I would love to talk with you and help in any way we can.
That's a funny comment, Michael. I wonder what Chet Atkins would think about relics. He seemed to have a new guitar every show. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more hour. Well, we can talk. I don't know if you guys want to. Where's the Mexican place? Somebody can have the food delivered to us.
Yeah.
We'll give you the name of the restaurant and our address here.
Yeah, we have a really good Mexican food place.
I did that once on my show, and someone ordered a pizza.
Really?
Like I just kept going, and next thing I know, my doorbell rang, and there's like, oh yeah, it's a large sausage and olive pizza for Dan. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, thanks. It was pretty good at my old shop. Someone sent a pizza over. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll keep going for pizza. We are in San Diego, where the Mexican food is stellar.
Yeah. Well, and I see down here a question from Josh. Excited about Silver Sky dropping. The one thing I wanted to comment on that is the Silver Sky. So I have one, that I bought, and it's not a Strat.
No,
It's a new Strat and all that, but
it's
I got
just
to
a really
say,
good guitar.
it's a freaking great guitar.
Yeah.
It really is, and I have so many friends that they're just not into Paul Reed Smith, and they're like, I'm not even playing that guitar, and I hand it to them and go, just stop and just play it.
Yeah.
And every one of them are like, man, this thing is like really, really nice.
Yeah.
So, the thing is,
the Telly version too. What's that called? I forgot.
I haven't checked that out.
I think it's new. I think I played a prototype because my friend, the guy that owns that 51, is on the board over there.
Yeah.
And I played the prototype. I got the hiccup. Sorry. Really nice guitar.
Yeah. Well, and I think what people just want to, try is maybe they want to try different pickups, because the pickups sound fine. I mean, John Mayer sounds great playing through it.
Yeah.
But people want to try different stuff. And so I put these are the protos that, and
Let me hold that up again.
We've done a bunch of different ones, and the reason it has to have that like hook thing on the bottom is because you can't have Paul does it different on theirs. They do like a stack and like a strain relief to get the wires coming out, the lead wires. But we did it this way where it drops in with the like little hook on the bottom. And but
That's
and
cool.
so I've got a set of my 64s that are in my Silver Sky now, and it sounds great. It's just, to me, it's fuller. It's more like traditional Strat sound.
Yeah.
But
I love your 64s. That's what I'm going to beg off of you today.
Yeah. Bill Lawrence. Didn't Bill Lawrence pass away?
I thought so a few years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if like it's family or anything. I don't know, honestly.
I guess he's really more curious about those blade magnets. Does anybody use those blade magnets anymore?
Oh, a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, Seymour Duncan still does that. I mean, there's a number of people that do that. I tried some, and I'm not to say we wouldn't like pursue it maybe in the future on some other kind of pickup, but the blades, being that it's solid all the way across. I like, the separation of the magnets,
Yeah.
because like one quick thing I'll say is, like, if you were to look at like a side view, and these are the strings going across the top of the pole pieces, you get interaction between, like, your low E or your high E here and your B. The magnets crosstalk with each other. And that's partly what gives you
part of the
cool
sound.
sounds.
Yeah.
It's probably like tubes,
Right.
or unbalanced tubes or something in amps that'll
they
trip.
crosstalk a little bit.
It crosstalks, and to where if you have a solid piece of metal going across there, it kind of eliminates that. It makes it more, I'm not going to say anemic. It's just more fundamental, which some people like. Like, not everybody likes my pickups, because all my pickups are going to have that compression and bloom on the note, or most of them. But there's people that I know, friends of mine, that actually prefer regular Fender pickups or pickups that don't have that, because they're more fundamental the way they play.
Sure.
And that's what you and I were talking about earlier about the restaurant thing is, they're like, you look at what Lindy Fralin does,
It's
you look
just
at Lawler,
taste.
Seymour Duncan. I mean, everybody
yeah.
does what they do, and they have their thing, and they make a great product. And you're never going to hear us bash or say that we're better than anything else. It's just, we're a different chef in a different restaurant.
That's right. I used to always say, like, chicken, like, you can go to Chick-fil-A, and right next door to it is Wolfgang Puck's restaurant. They're both making chicken.
That's right.
And they're both great.
Yeah.
Sometimes I really just want a Chick-fil-A sandwich with a pickle on it.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm salivating.
It's all good.
About it. Yeah.
Well, that's what we were saying earlier, just about, it comes into the humanity thing too, of like, just not talking shit about anybody else, and realize that everybody is passionate about what they do, and they make their product.
Well, you've met Lindy Fralin. He's the nicest guy.
I've talked to Lindy.
Jason Lawler's the nicest can be.
And talked to Jason. He's one of the nicest guys.
Seymour Duncan would come in here and just hug us. Yeah, he would sit down and be the sweetest Uncle Seymour you've ever had. They're all nice people.
Yeah.
There's a few that aren't, but that's just life,
Well, yeah.
You get 4 guys in a room, one of them's an asshole.
Yeah, there's always me an asshole.
Yeah. But for the most part, everybody. Same in the amp business. Most of my peers are really great people.
Yeah.
And we share information and even share components. And when we were next door to Bogner, we used to buy pallets of speakers together. Totally fine. It's great.
And the other thing too, I guess I was going to say that, we talked about earlier is, my pickups, if you look online, they're probably the most expensive pickups.
Do you he's asking, do you do any resonant testing on guitars? So do you ever build stuff that are specific to an instrument? Yeah, Mike, you met Lindy Fralin. He's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, over the years, because there's guitars here all the time, and there's pro players, and so we're around it all the time. So I keep an eye on, like, if somebody calls up and says, I've got like a 60 style Strat custom shop, so what I'll ask them, look, is it a darker sounding guitar or is it real lively guitar? Because being that it's just a Strat and you say it's alder and rosewood, that can vary. That can be lively and brighter. It can be darker. So we can make pickups to kind of adjust to that. So that's why, Audrey especially gets really mad at me, because instead of just reading the email, I'll always just pick up the phone and call, or I'll ask, what's your phone number? Because, what kind of a player are you? Do you have a heavy right hand?
That's right.
Do you have an articulate light hand, the way you play? And we can kind of talk through that and get you what we feel is the best.
Absolutely. It's same thing with amps. Like, we go through that thing, when Miles was there, where the blueprinting of it, like, because of the way you play, you might like a V1 tube that has a really fast rise time, because your right hand's not very strong. But if you have a really hot right hand, a really snappy V1 tube is going to just make you,
Yeah.
And so all these things matter. It's also subjective, and that's the amp makers that go to that level, like Dumble did, people like that.
Yeah.
That's why the amps were tuned for the player, because he sat around and listened to you play and realized, oh, this is going to work better for you.
Yeah.
And Miles Rose did that for us, for all of our pros. Same thing.
Well, it's the same thing, like on, and relating to amps, it's, I always like to ask, what amp do you play and stuff, because, certain amps, you don't want a real, powerful pickup going into the front of an amp that has a real powerful, front end to it, because it's just going to saturate out. So
a lot of pickups that sound killer in a blackface Fender are horrible in a Marshall.
Right.
Because it's just, it's so bright and so fast.
Yeah.
Because that's already a bright, fast amp, whereas a Fender's not.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's interesting stuff. You could just go down the rabbit hole forever.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's like one of the icons in the business, and Jason,
they're all really nice people.
So,
and they're sweet guys. They're doing it because they love it. What is this? How well can a humbucker go, or how weak can a humbucker go before it just won't sound good?
Yeah, well, that's where I ended up with the Bill Frisell, because you start to get too low, and it goes back to that kind of stupid analogy I have of the sweet spot, the tennis racket, there's definitely, there's an edge of the sweet spot. You can go too far, and when they get too low, they just kind of get hollow sounding, and there's nothing behind the note to really push the note.
Right.
They get kind of anemic.
Yeah, and they don't turn into like Rickenbacker pickups or anything when they're down at 4K or something. It changes completely. Oh man, we were talking about Mexican food. Now I'm starting to get hungry. It's San Diego. The closer you are to Mexico, the better the Mexican food is.
So Bill Lawrence did pass.
Yeah, that's right.
Were available through his family for a while. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Bill Lawrence stuff anymore, and that's sad, because he was quite an innovator.
I think I got exposed to him. I had
too.
one of those Dan Armstrong guitars.
Yeah.
In the 70s, the plexiglass guitars, and bought it used at Crazy Music in Columbia, Missouri, from Ken Shepard.
Yep.
But it had the blade pickups in it.
Well, maybe next time. I mean, we maybe even next time do a walkthrough with your cell phone or something, then attach that to the video or whatever. Because I'd love to show you guys. We can actually do the show off my cell phone. And the camera is actually really good, as good as this or better. Yeah. But it's the sound, it's not. But maybe I can figure that out. Maybe I can attach a better microphone. Yeah. They have just the ones that plug into the phone. Yeah, we could do that, and then we could do a nice walkthrough. Charles Freeborn was asking earlier about sound hole acoustic pickups. Well, that's something. We've been so busy here that so I work with some materials when I was at General Atomics. That is a really cool material that I kind of did some testing with acoustic style pickups, and it's strictly just like on a test board right now, and I need to shrink it down. But that's definitely something I'm working on.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And it's, it's not easy, because if it was, somebody would already be onto that, because there's a huge market for trying to get away from the piezo. Some of them are really good with piezo blend.
Yeah. I've noticed a demographic shift in the guitar market, because older guys like you and I, that aren't out gigging and playing loud rock and roll, they're selling a lot of gear and going into high-end acoustic guitars. Like people are really spending money on handmade high-end acoustic guitars now. Like 15, 20 years ago, people were spending on electrics.
Yeah.
Like the market's kind of shifting that way. And I think a lot of it is just age. Like I find myself sitting around playing acoustic guitar at home a lot.
That's
more.
what I'm doing most of these days myself.
Right. I can do it without destroying my family. Like, they don't hate me. Yeah. I'm sitting around gently playing my Martin in the living room.
Yeah.
Adjustable pole pieces. Do screws change the sound at all? I love adjustable poles.
They change the sound a lot.
I was going to say, especially on something like this, you can really.
Yeah. In fact, I definitely. I want to do a video of that, of just kind of showing, there's a million videos out there, but I think even Jason Lawler, has a good video about that. But definitely, like you can, in fact, Peter, I think, was the one that told me about this years ago. That, who was it? Peter Frampton or somebody would lower the overall pickup height and then jack up the pole pieces a lot. Because when you do that, what you're doing is you're biasing the screw coil. So you're making it more single coil like.
Yeah. Because
you're lowering down the slug.
And you're reducing the magnet on the string effect.
And you should really try it. Pay attention to where it's at, mark, and then count how many times you try it out.
Yeah.
Try it till it goes too much, and then lower the overall pickup height, and it really does make a big difference.
Yeah. Miles has this device. I should bring it when I come down. It looks like a multimeter, but it's not. And you just plug, he's got a little adapter, and you plug it right into a guitar. And you hit chords, and it'll give you like this hysteresis of what's going on.
Yeah.
And you can adjust the pole pieces until they're balanced. And that 59 Gretsch that I used to have, he set that up for Jed. Jed used to borrow that when he came into town to play gigs. Now that's the one Jason Isbell has. I want my guitar back, Jason. But I really miss that guitar.
Yeah.
But he would buy us a pickup, for the player, and it was different. We set it up for me at the shop, and then Jed wanted to borrow it, and Miles, let me have a look at it. And he put that meter on there, and it was totally different the way Jed played.
Yeah.
And you could really fine tune the pickup just for the guy.
So I'm going to find a picture, because I get over the years the Peter Green thing. Right. Does it make a difference if you turn the pickup around? Does it make a difference if you turn the magnet around and all that? Well, yes, it does, because you have the phase thing when you turn the magnet around, you flip it. But and then when you even take a humbucker and you rotate it a little bit, it's minor, but it does make a little difference.
You can also just put a phase flip on the guitar.
Yeah, but the thing is, I found a really good picture of Peter Green, and somebody was a photographer, whoever took the picture, was down below him. Turns out his neck pickup is down as far as you can get it down in the pickup ring of that Les Paul.
Wow.
It's way down there.
Right.
And he's got it angled where the bass is way down, but even the treble side is literally, it's an eighth of an inch below the ring.
Below the ring.
So here's Peter Green,
that's why it's twangy, I guess, right?
And like Leroy said, when you talk about the Peter Green thing, that's where you have to really find where your tone controls get set, because Peter Green, he didn't have everything wide open, because then you get that nasally out of phase sound. But his is where his bridge pickup was heavily biased.
Yeah.
And then he had just the neck pickup turned on a little bit.
Just to fluff it a little bit.
And then you get that blend, but you don't have that nasal thing. Right. But it's a sound. It's
a great sound.
Peter Green sound,
That's funny. Who was the guy when I went to GIT? I went there in 86 and 87. And Rick Turner. Steve Travato, Strat player, and he had an early 60s Sunburst Strat, like 63, 64 Strat, and it had the most amazing sound. And he told us he drops the pickup as low as they can go before the screw will come out. And that's his Strat sounded amazing.
Yeah.
He said if you want to play like dirty, it's awful.
Well, it's the same thing like if you have a Telly, and you want to hear what like an Esquire sounds like,
Yeah.
get rid of the neck pickup or screw the thing down as far as you can out of the way, because
the magnet's not messing with the strings.
Yeah, that changes the sound.
Totally.
And because an Esquire does sound different from a Telecaster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
very different sound.
But I always look at it like and one of the reasons I want to do a video is I think a lot of people are afraid, to mess with their pickup height or whatever.
Yeah.
As long
you
as
can
you
always put it
document
right
where
back.
it is.
Yeah.
What I like to do is, again, it goes back to that thing, the sweet spot.
Right.
Crank it down until you literally, you don't like it. You don't like the sound.
Right.
And
Go
then
too far.
Get it too close to the strings where you start to get the warble. You kind of get where it starts to mush out and all that. And then find that happy medium in between, because.
So this was a tip Michael DeTemple gave me. We talked about it at breakfast this morning. Those old Boss tuners, the TU-24 or whatever that has the needle on it. You raise your pickup up until the needle starts to flutter. That's too high. And then you back it down where the needle stabilizes. Now you've got it as hot as you can get it without it screwing up.
Yeah. That's a good reference point to start with.
Yeah. And then do it by ear.
And then do it by ear.
Yeah.
But I always recommend that on pickup height, because a lot of people say, what do you use or what do you recommend? So I'll give a recommendation, but it's your ears. So my big deal is get a screwdriver and set aside undisrupted 30 minutes and just tweak, and just.
You have to play, like set them in and play it for 5 or 10 minutes before you go, oh, I don't like it, or I do like it, might change. Yeah. But that's so much fun though. It's like, if you got a rainy Sunday afternoon,
that's my favorite thing.
Put on a football game or golf tournament and just sit and mess with your guitar all day.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I did, and we didn't mention those either, the Ellisonics.
Excuse
me, Telesonics.
Telesonics.
So in the Telecaster line, kind of following the whole Ellisonic, the 470JL that we do, like the Dynasonic, then we started getting requests from people saying, hey, I can't afford a Julian Lage, $8,000 callings or whatever, but can you make that similar in like a humbucker or a P90?
Yeah.
So now we have the Ellisonic. We carried that over to our Ellisonic hum size, which is it looks just like a humbucker, but it's got the magnets are right down the middle.
Okay.
And they're not screws; they're actually magnets that come up through.
Oh, right.
And but we've got that. But then somebody requested. In fact, Jed. We were talking to Jed about it.
You were going to suggest that for my telly, weren't you?
And so I put those together.
I played the new ones the last time I was here, and
in my guitar,
they're outstanding. I mean, they're next level. Like
they really are.
It's breakthrough stuff. I don't know if I should be talking about it here or not.
Well, so they're going to be on the new website, and we're starting to make them now. But so I made these thinking with the idea that I know these won't sound good because in a Telecaster it's just a little bit different, and it's not a humbucker, it's not a P90. You don't have the width. To work with. So I thought, but I got to try it.
Right.
But I know it's not going to sound good. So
turns out
tweaking. So I put it in that Tele you played, that Underwood. And so I stuck them in there and then came here in the shop and started to tune it up. And I was just going to set the height. So I'm tuning up the new strings on it and stuff. And as I'm tuning it, I'm going, holy shit.
This sounds all right. Yeah.
This sounds freaking
great.
Just
to show you guys what a gentleman Ron is, when I came to look at pickups, he had like 5 or 6 tellies in a rack. They're all killer tellies. They were all tuned and all set up with a nice little deluxe style amp and it was all really nice. And he took me through all of them. Then I played the new Telesonics and just went, whoa, wait a minute. What? What? It's really a jump. I'm not trying to be like sales guy here, like, because you hear a lot of pickups all the time. You go, oh yeah, it sounds good, but it's not really different. And this was like, okay, everyone in the room went, whoa, wait a minute.
Everybody's played him like Julian. He got here the day after I'd put him in.
And Jed's playing him too, right?
And then Jed, and when I sent him to Jed, he's like, holy crap. So I think.
Are you guys hip to Jed Hughes? Just so you know, like.
You should be.
If you don't know, Jed with 2 Ds, Jed Hughes, he's an Australian guy.
Look up his YouTube channel.
Who lives in Nashville. He's sublime. He's an amazing guitar player. Plus, if you know him, it makes it even that much better. But
Dan's known him longer than me, but we've known him for a number of years. And he's the sweetest guy, Australian kid guy.
He's a grown man now.
And monster player.
Yeah.
But he got him.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he's pretty quiet. I won't hear from him for a while, but he wrote right back. He's like, mate, holy shit.
Right.
He said, I've used these in a couple sessions.
Yeah.
And so they sound really good. So it's one of those things where I don't think other pickup makers would think of doing that because of the materials, because the wire is totally different that I use. The magnets are different. But they sound really freaking good.
Yeah. And I can vouch for that in person. I was just sort of like, okay.
So by mistake, kind of.
And we had people in the room that weren't really guitar players, like people that play guitar. But and everybody's like, wow, that's next level. Yeah. So I'm interested in those.
Yeah.
Well,
try those. That's
really good. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to make sure we talk about while I'm here?
Well, I was just going to say also, if you haven't checked out our site or know, our pickups are expensive. They're probably the most expensive pickups.
So we should open that door really quick, because everybody always asks me, why are Ron Ellis's pickups so expensive?
Yeah.
My answer is A, they're worth it, but B, also, if we could take you back here, the guy runs a above board shop, and everyone here has health care, and it's a nice, beautiful place, and it's a nice neighborhood, and he does everything legitimately, but the pickups also sound noticeably better. But I don't want to jump on you on that, but if someone asks you that, what do you tell them?
Well, we get it quite often in a nice way. We get jerks that are like, I can buy, Duncan's for a third the price or a quarter of the price. Whatever. You can, and they're probably going to do fine, because if you're a good enough player, you're going to make anything sound good. But
I have a drawer with $2,000 worth of pickups.
Well, that's the funny part is, even if I get somebody that like writes in or whatever, or I'll take a phone call and they're like, dude, your pickups are so expensive. Why? It's like, well, because I'm in California, I'm in San Diego, I'm in a facility here that's really expensive. I pay everybody that works for me here a really, really fair, actually above fair.
And that's how can you get good people
range. Yeah. I have healthcare, complete healthcare through Scripps here, which is one of the best in the U.S.
Right.
I believe if I'm going to run a business, I want to feel good about being able to employ people in a tough time
and not exploiting people.
And I'm not going to hire people off Craigslist and go through 10 people to find a good one. And so once you have everybody that works here is really good. It's demanded out of them. I mean, they're going to do it exactly the way that I'm going to do it, or they can't work here. But
you have to pay for that.
You got to pay for it. And am I making any money on this? I'm making just enough, and this is honest, to pay my people. I've got my 2 kids working here. We're trying to expand the business and all, but I'm not making a lot of money off this business. I'm just not.
Yeah, you told me what you make per hour, and it's below minimum wage.
You would laugh if you know what I make per hour being Ron Ellis, the owner of this business.
It's like half minimum wage.
It is. And I mean, I've retired from my regular job, so I'm in a position where I can do that, but I put everything back into the business. And I guess what I want to get to is that our pickups are 100% guaranteed. And I want that to be out there, that if you want to try them, you pay for it. If you think they're not worth that or whatever, we'll give 100% of your money back.
And how many people have returned them?
Not one in the 15, 16 years I've been doing it.
Yeah. Why? I can tell you, because I own a lot of your pickups. Like, no way in hell I'm returning these pickups.
And the funny thing is, and Dan and I are guilty of it too. And I still have a drawer before I was actually doing this, where I've got a shit ton of pickups that I paid $150, $250, whatever it was at the time.
A lot of times just an impulse.
I probably got $3,000, $4,000 worth of pickups sitting there in a drawer. So, I mean, that's, I just wanted to say that
you go broke saving money.
They are expensive. And we know that. And I wish they weren't, and I wish we could charge less, but it's what I have to do to have this business. So,
well, like the 2 humbuckers that are in my Les Paul, what you were charging for them 15 years ago, by today's standards, wouldn't seem that crazy expensive.
Well, 15 years ago, they were half. That price. They
would be kind of high end, but they wouldn't really be expensive.
They were high end at the time.
Yeah. Now, and I look back and go, I only paid $400, for these pickups instead, and it's just like with anything, when you look at old guitars, even your house. I can't believe I paid for what I paid for my house. But it was 23 years ago, and now my neighbors go, you only paid what for your house? Like, it's the same thing.
I know.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So anyway, I can tell you, I think it's money well spent. You guys have met Ron. You've seen what a nice place this is. Next time we'll get a camera where we can walk around and you can see the place.
Yeah, we'd love to show you around.
Yeah.
Or if you're ever in the San Diego area and you want to stop by the shop, we'd love to have you. So
yeah, absolutely. But we're going to have to get some food.
Yeah.
This is great. People are hanging on, but it's almost 2:00. We've been on almost 2 hours. You'll watch though. If we stay another 15 minutes, it's going to go up.
Yeah.
People start going, hey, it's like the Joe Rogan effect or something. No one is getting rich selling pickups. Maybe Duncan. No, he's not. And DiMarzio. I mean, they make money, but they have huge overseas factories, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Duncan has a pretty big operation in Santa Barbara, you know, for those $90 over the counter pickups.
Well, I heard from Mark, who's the president now, that they make 1,320 different models of pickups.
Mark DiLorenzo.
Yeah.
Mark's great, by the way. I know Mark really well.
Well, Mark.
Yeah.
Long story there.
Yeah. 13. That's a lot of SKUs, man.
I think it was Mark or somebody that works there or something.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're doing all kinds of signature and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know.
Well, MJ in the custom shop has a catalog. They make a 65 amp set. You know, because
that's just it.
I went in there one day and
Seymour
said, "Let me make you a pickup." Right.
Yeah.
And so now you can call MJ and order the 65 amp, and they're not expensive. Right. You know, at the custom shop, $300 or something, $275.
So that's all the different variations of what
every artist that, you know, she's got 20 different pickups she's made for Billy Gibbons, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, it's really fun. Well, I'm going to kind of do last call here. Do you guys have anything, other pressing questions you want to ask Ron? You guys will see me next week, and I'll have the prototype. We got the new power transformer in and everything, so we'll be playing some guitar next week. But
should I show them the Mark Rudders SG just for?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a cool guitar.
Cool guitar. Just visually, it's cool too.
Yeah. You guys know Mark Rudders? He makes a lot of guitar equipment. What are the best pups Ron has ever heard? What are your all-time favorite pickups, Ron?
That I've ever heard?
Yeah.
PA humbuckers in that gold top I was referring to. That.
Oh, yeah.
That was the most outstanding guitar I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
And that was with me even playing it.
Yeah.
The guy that owned it was kind of an amateur player. It sounded anybody like Jeff Ruiz.
Yeah.
Lit it up, did Zeppelin stuff with it and all that.
Jeff's a great player.
Absolutely phenomenal. So for humbuckers, that one.
What is this guitar made of?
So this is Limba. So Mark Rudders, who now lives in Tennessee, made this. It's his SG. And these are, this thing weighs like 6 pounds. And it sounds amazing. And these are
Ellisonics.
These are the Ellisonics. So these are the P90 size Ellisonics that have the magnet. These are actual magnets instead of screws.
That's cool.
Because it's the Ellisonic line. But just thought I'd show you this. It's just he does just a, you know, Mark makes his hardware. He makes like telly hardware and bridge plates.
I got his.
Check out the weight of this thing.
It's nothing.
It's ridiculous. Freaking great guitar. We'll have to plug
and it rings.
Yeah.
Was this Dan's Border Collies are amongst the best pups I've ever heard? My dogs interrupt my show all the time. I have Border Collies, and they just like to walk in and go, "Hey,
good pups." Yep.
Yeah. Are
Yeah, no, Mark. And Mark is a friend, and he used to live out here in San Diego. But man, I'm telling you, his guitars are. I've got a Les Paul that he made me. That is a 1/4 inch thinner, and it has the flatter neck angle, so like a 52, 53, and that guitar is insane.
Wow, that's nice.
He makes really nice stuff.
That's so light.
And his stash of wood, you should see his old wood. He's got old Brazilian, old Honduran mahogany.
Dang.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of that with Michael with this guitar, that neck wood. He bought his roasted maple that he bought in 1992. And he said at the time it was really old then. He doesn't remember how old. It's been sitting. He's got an aging loft at his place.
Yeah. That's what Mark has.
It's been sitting there for 30 or whatever that is, 33 years aging, on top of how old it was.
Who's that?
Hoss Thompson. That's our friend in the north of England.
No, the Limba is really dense. I built 4 Tellys out of it. Yeah. Tellys would be interesting because it is real dense. Definitely.
Yeah, I bet.
But I mean, we'll plug this in, let Dan check it out. But
Hoss is asking if that is actually similar to Carina.
I think it is. Yeah, Mark was saying that. It looks kind of like Carina, and I think it's right in the same family.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to ask Mark the main difference on it, but this thing sounds ridiculous.
And how much sound difference does moving a pickup toward and away the bridge make? I know picking further away from the bridge sounds very different.
I mean, typically if you get it too much, it starts to warble out.
Mm-hmm.
But typically you get up closer to the strings, it starts to get a little warmer. Your mid-range kind of comes out.
Mm-hmm.
When you sink it down, it kind of goes the other way.
I think he's also talking about like moving like this distance, like,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, further away from the bridge versus closer to the bridge.
Surprisingly, it really does make a big difference. There's a friend of mine that makes 335s, and his prototype, he made it where it was actually further away from the bridge towards the neck,
mm-hmm.
and it sounded great. But then the next one he made, he put it back closer to the bridge, and it just sounded a lot better.
Yeah.
So
if you want to get any twang out of the guitar,
proximity.
Yeah.
Which makes.
Well, I know when you're picking back by the bridge versus up front, it's massively different.
Yeah.
You can make a guitar do so many different things.
Well, I mean, you move like, say, a Tele bridge pickup or any pickup. When you move it back, the strings, back by the bridge are going to vibrate less than they are closer to the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just going to get tighter, probably a little bit stronger signal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's a cool guitar.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention pretty.
Beautiful.
I dig it.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? You got any other questions here? You want to pick Ron's brain? That you're right, though. The way we have the camera set, we look very young.
Yeah, I want this camera all the time.
I don't even have the filter on. I can filter it where it makes us look like little cartoon characters.
Yeah. Well, we did, it's funny. When did we do that first video? So we did a video out of Dan's shop at 65 amps.
Oh my gosh.
That was that wasn't your shop.
And that was over at the studio.
The studio.
Yeah, it was at Office Studios.
2010, maybe?
Yeah, it was like height of the recession.
Had to be 10.
Yeah, with Brett and Bob.
And then Jeff Ruiz came up.
Yeah, that's right. And Miles was there, and we had the Sofa Kings.
That's right, yeah. And then I changed out pickups live.
You swapped a whole pick guard on that green telly live on the show, which I kind of put you on the spot. That wasn't very cool.
We got it done, though.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah.
It was the bad joke of the Sofa Kings. Like, this is Sofa King cool, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That was funny.
It was when we'd be like, oh, that's Sofa King Miles. And, we had a good time.
Jaguar cars?
I don't like them. Why don't you see more transformers in guitars? You don't need one. There's no amplifier in there. But I hear you. I mean, I guess you could technically put a little tiny transformer in there but I mean, a transformer is a stack with a coil, which is kind of what a pickup is.
Yeah.
There's no magnetism really in it, but that's funny. Well, good stuff. Well, fellas, I think we're going to sign off because I am really getting hungry now for Mexican food since we've been talking about it. Ron, is that place we went last time close to here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like 10 minutes away.
Oh, yeah. We need to hook a brother up, and then I got to drive back to LA in the rain.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
A little bit of that'll be all right, though. But if I got a full belly, I'll be happy.
Well, yeah, guys, thank you, Dan, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Good to see you, Ron. It's always fun to hang out and talk. Yeah. We'll do more. We'll just say this is episode 1.
We'll do a walk through the shop.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Haas. And thank you, Jerry. Yeah, this is great. I wanted you guys to meet Ron. Rain. Yeah, it's raining up in LA this afternoon. This is my friend in Connecticut who was like, oh, fuck, it's 40 degrees outside this morning.
We finally get rain, but what is it, like 65 degrees out? I mean, it's not cold.
Yeah, it's not like a rainstorm. Yeah. Plus, it's California. Like when it rains here, people are like, storm watch 2025. Oh, yeah.
The news last night was like, don't leave your house,
I know. Well, I grew up in Missouri, and my wife's from Georgia. So it's like, when like Eskimos have like 9 words for snow. Californians have 1 word for rain. Yeah. They don't know what a sprinkle, a spritz, a shower, a mist, any of that stuff is. I'm like, that's not rain. It's just sprinkling outside. No, I had to use my wipers. I'm like, no, rain is when you have to pull over because the high wipers don't work. Yeah. You got to like sit under a bridge.
Well, they got to blow everything out of proportion.
It's got to be interesting. It's got to be dramatic. Yeah. Right? It's just rain. You'll be okay. You're not made out of brown sugar. Rain's good. Do you like to eat food? It's dependent on rain.
Right.
But No, it's fine. And I'm used to driving in the rain. I don't worry about my driving in the rain. I worry about the other people here that don't know what they're doing. Like, hit your brakes a little early, folks. That's all. Don't ride so close to my bumper.
Get off your phone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Stay off the dang phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks again, Ron. And thanks to everybody here for putting up with us today.
Yeah. Next, when we go through, we can introduce you to the guys in the shop.
Yeah.
They're all very dedicated, and we got a really good team of people. It's great.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I think a lot of people, I don't know if this is something we can pull off or not, but I think people are very interested to see the process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I start with this and it turns into that. And you don't have to give away any secrets or anything, but, you know, just like show this is what a string winder, this is what a winder does. You know,
well, I mean, you'll see that, I mean, you know, because I've got, you know, a background in like tool design and stuff too. And it's funny, you'll see that, I mean, we have one press that we put the magnets in.
Yeah.
So everything is literally done by hand here. And I mean, as we move on, yes, well, I probably have another press and come up with some fixtures and stuff, but I like the way we do it because it's
the results speak for themselves.
I don't want it. I don't want the process to go too fast. I mean, because you start speeding up things too fast and you start making mistakes, and then
that's right.
You know, and we've really worked hard to try to keep that same recipe we keep talking about.
Yeah, and your consistency is amazing.
You know,
well, so, relative to the field,
we try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, thank you again, Ron. It's so fun to be here.
Lots of fun.
And thank you guys for hanging out today for 2 hours. Pretty nice.
Appreciate it.
Pretty nice group of guys. Oh, see, now I could scroll back through here. I didn't think about that. When I was at full screen, we probably missed a bunch. Well, the good news, you can go on and answer these. You can go on to the you can answer these.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, I can just log on, right?
Yeah, you can go look at the replay of the show.
I'll go through these and any we missed, I'll be glad to.
Yeah, there's a bunch here. Now you see these where it says like that's guys on YouTube versus on Facebook. So the comments don't cross-pollinate, unfortunately. So that's why I try to read them all out loud so the people that on Facebook can hear the YouTube guys. So I got like there's 2 YouTube channels and 3 YouTube pages where it's at. So all right, guys. Well, I'm going to hit the road and I'll see you guys from Los Angeles next week. But it's been really fun being here in San Diego and doing all this stuff. And you'll see the results. Ron's going to help me with a couple of guitars and we'll play them on the show.
Yeah.
We could even set up, I could bring the right microphone. I could bring my aux box down here and we could just play an amp head.
That'd be great. And
plug it right into the interface like I do on my show. There's no noise at all. We'd have to be on headphones. That's the only thing. Okay. So, yeah, we can do that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. All right, fellas, take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Goodbye from San Diego. See you next week.